All right, gonna bring myself into this stream and let's see. Gonna bring Catherine and Sophia into this as well, and we are live. Hey everybody, how are you?
Hi, good.
Hi.
I'll be right back.
Sure, no problem. Take your time. I'm just dealing with some sinus issues here, but had a few minutes and rare opportunity to do something live here and definitely wanted to invite both of you. So thank you both for being here. Appreciate that. And for keeping up the great work, too. I definitely appreciate that. Helping to keep this case going. You know, there's so many people, publicly and privately, I would guess, right, that never really get any credit or anything for all of their wonderful help. So it means so much to us. We're coming on, what, is it 7 years or 8 years? It's just 2015 to 2023. Would that be 8 years, I think,
Yeah,
right?
coming up on 8. Yeah.
Yeah, in January. And I know we're working on something. I don't know if we want to talk about that um, here or talk about that privately later, but definitely want to talk about um, that in the near future at some point, even if we don't talk about it publicly here.
Yeah.
So, but how's everybody doing? Anything new?
I'm making popcorn, so I'm listening. I'm glad just as I turned on the stove, and so now it's starting to pop. So I'll be right back.
That's okay. Are you making it the old-fashioned way, or is this
Yes. Oh,
microwave? Okay,
no,
real
always on the
popcorn
stove, old fashioned.
on the stove with some oil, a little bit of butter. Put the top on a pan and let that thing pop until you can't hear any more popping. So you have to be able to listen to this. And I'm gonna do my Gordon Ramsay here and let you know how to make popcorn properly. The question is, do you add? Most people will add salt, but do you add pepper to your popcorn?
I have in the past. I do like pepper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It's usually what I eat for dinner. So it's like dinner time, and I'm like, oh, I'll sneak this in, and then it didn't sneak so well.
Oh my goodness, that brings back so many childhood memories of just popcorn for dinner. It's like,
Yes,
well,
yes.
it's filling, it's good, it's as long as you get good popcorn, that's
Yeah.
the other key there too. But and Sophia, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
I
It's
can hear you
actually
good.
working?
And you're on StreamYard. It's working on
I know.
StreamYard. Yeah, the light is shining here on my arm for some reason, but so let it be with you, Sophia. Glad it's working.
Yeah, I can't use the camera right now because the kids are wild and I'm in my bedroom and so
Okay,
it's just but
that's all right. At least you're
yeah.
you're here. Definitely appreciate that. I don't know if you received my email or not. I don't know. I sent it to your Proton mail. I don't think I sent it to the other one, so you may not have received that. But the project, I really want to move forward with it, and I know both of you are pretty much done with your parts, and I'm finally ready to get moving on my part. So I'm looking forward to that, and I would love to see this project done before the first month of next year if I can make that happen. That's on me, but hopefully you receive my email. If you haven't, we'll definitely talk about that later too.
Okay, sounds great. I know that Catherine and I have been working on working on things behind the camera and I mean the
Any?
David Crowley case is always on our mind, but
Mhm.
we have some ideas of hopefully bringing other people to this case and getting other eyes onto it, big name eyes onto it.
That'd be great.
So, and I don't want to spill the beans yet
Okay.
on that, but we
Just
are.
tease us a little bit with it.
It's a pretty big case. Not, I mean, the David Crowley cases, but this case that we're thinking about working on also is a pretty big case. And many people do not believe. I mean, there was a poll done by lots of YouTube creators, and over 65% do not believe that it was an accidental death, that foul play or a cover up was involved. And then when you look into this county has a horrid track record of corruption. And now it turns out that the ME also has a horrid record of corruption. And
Wow.
Catherine, I'm going to send you that information on that. It's just shocking.
Was this the Nevada coroner, or was this coming from Sacramento County?
I need to look at that stuff again, and I need to get my cat away. Go. She's like, oh, I just love this. I'm going to rub all over it. I need to look.
Everybody, where's my popcorn?
That looks good.
And it looks
It is
good.
actually good.
It does look good.
So, what happened to you guys' face?
Oh, I'm in my bedroom
Oh, okay, there we go.
because the kids are wild.
Oh
It is
no.
nothing but pure chaos going on out there. You know that little, I can't remember what his name is, but off of the wild thornberries, he's the wild child. I got that going on right now in my household. So
Sounds fun.
it's crazy. And it's just, I have my door locked because the youngest has learned how to unlock or open doors now.
Uh-oh.
So it's just so much easier just to hide in my room.
Yeah.
Hiding out, huh?
Yes. And let's see here. I'm looking at the paperwork right now. So I'm trying to get the name and find out where her autopsy was done.
Okay. Yeah, so Greg, did I sent you those chapters you were wanting for the book? Have you had a
Yes.
chance to look over them and
Yes.
they're all okay?
Yep. And what I did is I ran them through that program that I was talking about. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it back to you for your final view on it, because it made some changes that I felt were they didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? So what I
Yeah,
want you to
sometimes
do,
they don't. Yeah.
yeah. So I figured what I'll do is I'll send you back what it did, the changes that it made. But ultimately, if you're like, you know what, I like it the way that I had it, then there were some, there were like one or two typos, I think, and I've only gone through one of those chapters there, so I haven't even gone through anything else.
I
But they
didn't
found,
proofread any of it. I
yeah,
typed it and sent it to you. So
no,
it doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So I mean, aside from that, but there were some areas where it wanted to change things, but I've listened to enough of your videos where I know how you talk. So I was like, I don't know. That doesn't with the edits they wanted to make. It's like that doesn't sound like Catherine though.
Yeah.
So that's why I figured, definitely I'll send it back to you. But just that one chapter, and I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, or if
Let's
we're
save it for the book.
okay. All right. But it's really good.
Okay.
So yeah, I think people are gonna really like that one chat, and I can't even say which one it is because it'll give it away.
Yeah.
There, actually, I can in the private chat, I think.
Mhm.
And I need to,
Okay.
I actually have to finish a couple chapters too.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
that I hadn't finished them, but I need to. Okay, let's see
I want to
here.
say hi to Little Bear. Thank you very much for being here, and want to say hi to Southern Truth
Hey,
4,
Jamie.
number 4. So both of you, if you both
Wow.
want to come
Hi, Little
on,
Bear.
definitely feel free to come on. I'll drop the live link in the chat if either of you do want to come on here and kind of chat with us. Just kind of an open forum, I guess. We're just chatting here. We're just hanging out. So for maybe another hour or so, we'll go and anything that anybody wants to talk about. But for Catherine, that chapter, that was the one that it was pulling in things. Just there were a few minor things, but anyways, that one I did run it through the system. I formatted it for the book, so that way, it's pretty much ready. And it's about that one is like 8 pages. So that one came out to be about 8 pages long with this book format, which is good. That's perfect. So I was like, okay, great. So I think we'll really have something good here. We'll still need to talk about some of the other we need a title, obviously. I'm working on. We need some book work, some artwork, so we need to talk about that, and yeah, all that other stuff. But I do hope that we can make sure that this is out by January 17th,
Yeah, the
2023.
anniversary date. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be good.
yeah, that's the goal there. And I'd still like to do the free ebook for anybody that wants it, and then they can all they'll purchase it. And even the book that I have, the Gray Stage book right now, you can't get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, worldwide distribution. It's not even ready for that yet, because now that I've found this program, now I want to run my book through the program, have it find all that stuff, and then do a hardcover copy. So that's what I'll be working on with the Gray Stage book there.
Well,
So
and here's I remember when you first started doing when asking for input on your gray stage book, and you kind of ignored what I was suggesting, but I'm going to reiterate it. I want you to really think about it. And because you said at one point you had wanted to know if you should have included something. I'll have to go back through the emails. And I'm like, yes, include a snippet of it. Now, here's why. Because when people would read that little snippet in your first book, it's going to make them hungry for the second book. Like, wait a minute, I want to see where this is going to head. So it kind of encourages a continuation. Kind of think of it like a series. In a series, you always leave them wanting more for what's coming next.
do you remember what that snippet was? Do you remember what that was?
I'll have to go through our emails
Okay.
again to find that, because I'm like going, there's a reason why.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know. I slipped my mind, whatever that was, but I'd be curious to know what that was.
Okay, I'll go through our emails. I'll do a search in my emails and see if I can't find it again, because what you had suggested, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, include that, and then it wasn't included.
It wasn't in there. Interesting. Yeah, I don't. I'll have to go back and see what that. But hey, we can maybe we'll include it in the hardcover book.
Yeah,
There was a lot of stuff that got taken out that just did not fit, or I felt just there was a flow issue, or I felt, well, I'll do this little like bonus chapter that'll have all this extra stuff in it for people, and all that got taken out too, because it was kind of a cluster. It really didn't make sense. What is going on?
I know.
It's
He's
like
not
not
kidding.
only
What?
The kids, we can hear the kids.
Oh,
yeah, yeah, you weren't kidding when they were you
yes,
said
I
they
told
were
you. And they
screaming
are
their
on the
heads
other
off there.
side too. They're
You have a
not
good
right outside my
microphone.
door.
That's how you know you have a good mic right there, I think, is it's coming through hot and
It's
heavy.
like there's a car alarm going off. I'm like, holy moly, is this Armageddon or something? Because
I can't
it's
hear the
so
car
loud.
alarm, but yeah, I
Oh
could.
yeah, I think they finally stopped it. But
Nice.
yes, it was Nevada County, and then they kicked it back to Placer. It was Chicago that did the talk screens. They did, the sample had been sent to Chicago. So that's pretty much the only thing that's trustworthy at this point.
Yeah, and when we go over this case, because we've really decided we're going to, just because it just reminds me so much of David's case, the injustices.
I'm texting my daughter right now and I'm putting myself on mute.
Get to the chopper. That's pretty much it. You got the predator over there in Texas. How do you make it to Texas of all places? But yeah,
Oh gosh, I mean, it's so great when kids are having so much fun. I mean, it's
I love
hilarious.
it. I love it. I love it. That's how kids should be, not putting them on these drugs and putting them on these
Right,
things that just make them all, numb and just, yeah, just
right.
I see so much of that, and it's like, wow, why would you want to do that to your child, and it makes me wonder about maybe Rania too, because there's been a lot of just very vague things about, was she autistic, was she not autistic, was she on meds, et cetera, but looking at the actual autopsies, Catherine, doesn't look like she was on any medication. Would that be something we would be able to tell? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm trying to remember, did they even do a tox screen on her? I don't know if they did or not,
Oh,
but
good question.
yeah,
Oh,
let
I can
me.
look.
Yeah, I was going to say I
Yeah.
was going to pull that up really quick. Oh, it's not on this computer. But yeah, unless they didn't mention finding any meds in the house for her. There were some meds that they pulled out of the drawer, but none of those I don't think were logged. So yeah, I don't know. I
There
think
was a toxology.
okay, and
Cool.
was it they came back clear, right? Clean?
Spleen, uh, yeah, just ethanol, but that's part of the
Decomp. Yeah,
decomposition.
decomp
It's
artifact. Yeah.
point
So yeah, so
zero
she
six zero.
probably wasn't taking anything. Maybe Camille was trying to do it with diet, which you really can do for a lot of these kids who have mild autism. If you take them off of the processed sugars, the processed wheats and flours and stuff, and give them as much natural food as possible, they do better. I'm not saying it's a cure. I'm not a doctor, but I do know a lot of parents who've been finding that a natural unprocessed diet that the kids do way better. So maybe that's how she was treating it. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, it's very very curious about that. Because they seem like health nuts, kind of, at least what we would call health nuts back then. Now it's, I mean, back in the day, it would just be normal. You would eat normal food, regular food that was grew, whatever. Um,
Yeah, Camille
and
made sure they had a very good diet. She was paleo, right? I think she did
yeah,
the paleo diet, and they ate very good and very clean.
yeah. And she had, Kamel had also said that she had cured her daughter of autism, which was a that's a huge statement to really say, because autism, everybody I'm sure has their own thoughts on that and their own views on that. But to say that, you've pretty much cured your daughter of autism, that's a big statement. That's a bold statement, I would
Well,
say.
see, and that's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of kids, I believe, in my own personal opinion and from what I have seen, is that a lot of children are diagnosed with autism and they're not true autistic. They're
Mm,
either having allergic reactions to the food that they're eating, some type of grains, or they're having way too much sugar in their diets, which causes them to, the system to be hyper, which then makes them sick. It causes inflammation, which, it's this whole domino effect. And if you clean up their diet, this is, I think, how you can really tell a true autistic child versus one. It's either allergies or just bad nutrition, because I'm not sure with a true autistic child that you could fix it with the diet. I don't know enough about it, but I'm thinking that's more along the realm of something that's happening within the brain itself. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Ronnie did a whole lot better with a clean diet. I bet you 80% of the kids out there would do a whole lot better. Stop taking them to, McDonald's and Burger King, and, cook them food that's not processed, and don't give them sugar anymore, and they'll probably do really great.
Can I add my 2 cents on this?
Sure.
yes.
Because Connor has also been diagnosed as autistic, but the reason why the boys are both autistic is because there's a chromosome deletion. They have a genetic mutation and a deletion, and it's just something that we found out over the summer, and we're still dealing with that.
Do you know what
But
what might cause that, or maybe not cause it, but what would
it was on
contribute?
the dad's side. It's just a family trait that finally, when they met our genes, my daughter's genes and his genes, and it just created this. And so,
And diet won't
they're
fix that.
no. And the thing is autistic children are the pickiest eaters you will ever come across. And I kid you not, it's like, for instance, we have kashi bars that he absolutely loves. They're organic cereal bars with fruit in it. He loves them so much, and they stopped making them.
Oh no.
This is what he eats for breakfast. This is what he'll eat for a snack, to hold him over until dinner time. Otherwise, it's like pizza, it's rice-a-roni, it's macaroni and cheese, it's chicken nuggets, and we try so hard to put fruit in there and vegetables, and he refuses. He won't touch it. He smells it,
And how
and
old is he now? Is he younger
he's
than
almost
7?
6.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
he's almost 6, yeah.
And that is pretty much normal to not just for autistic, but it's normal for just children, period. I have a grandson and he's not autistic. And we know you've had the test, so you know what your grandson has. But for my grandson, he doesn't have that, but he was just as picky. He ate, I
Mhm.
swear, for the first almost 9 years of his life, he would only eat macaroni and cheese,
Oh
mandarin
my goodness.
and like one other thing for breakfast, and that's it. He would not touch anything else. So finally, he's like 11 now. But now, just in the last 6 months, he's finally eating pizza. He finally will try a hamburger. So it took so long to get him, because I don't know if it was a texture thing, but he
Mhm.
didn't want any part of it. He's like, no, no, no. You try to get him to eat it, and he either would just not eat or he would throw up, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting that children do that. I mean,
That's so
Yeah, and
interesting that you say that, Catherine. I'll let Sophia continue, but because my cousin for a long time, and he's not autistic either, but for many years as a kid, he would only eat the mac and cheese, and my grandpa would get so mad because he's like, this he needs,
mhm.
and they do need to eat
mhm.
other stuff besides mac
Yes.
and cheese, obviously, but that's just interesting that you say that.
Yeah, and it's like you have to make sure they take their vitamins when that's all they're eating. I mean, and then for the last 3 years, it was mac and cheese, and then his mom finally got him to eat like beefaroni. So then he would have beefaroni and rice, and in alternate nights, beefaroni and rice or mac and cheese. I'm like, dude, there's a whole entire world of food out there.
And that's
Yeah,
not
and
natural food, right? That's not really
No,
good
it's
food.
horrible for
There's good alternatives. You can make a healthy mac and cheese. You can make a healthy beefaroni, but
you.
that's probably
Nope.
not what we're talking about here,
And
right?
it's not what he would eat.
Right.
yeah,
He
because
wanted
I
that
would try to
box.
make it.
Yeah.
I would try to make it, and nope. Especially during COVID, when the supply chain was really being impacted and we couldn't find certain things, I would be like, okay, I could try to make this. Oh,
Well,
hell
that's what I
no.
was going to ask you. Have you found an alternative to that fruit bar, to
Mm-mm.
that? Nothing.
No, no. I found something so close, but I guess it just didn't have the right smell because he
Oh,
smells it, he touches it, and then, he inspects it before
Mm.
he'll eat it. He has major trust issues, and I don't understand why. It's not like we're trying to slip him anything, but
That's hilarious.
it's like we didn't poison it. I swear to God. But that's just what he does. And his brother he is a little bit more adventurous with food. If he sees us eating, he'll
Mm.
want to try it.
good.
Most of the time, he'll want to try it, and we can get him to eat it. Now, if can we get him to eat it the next night? Probably not.
Mm.
But if he sees us eating, he'll at least give it a shot.
That's
But
good.
we mainly are on a strict diet of strawberries and Chick-fil-A and eggs.
Chick-fil-A right here,
Yes.
right to the belly. Chick-fil-A. We don't eat fast food. I haven't eaten fast food in years, but Chick-fil-A, they got me.
Everybody likes
They got
Chick-fil-A, and I
me.
think it's the grossest thing. Ooh,
Why? It's
my
fried
daughter,
It
chicken.
is.
my daughter and my grandkids love it. And every time I would go down there, like, let's go to Chick-fil-A breakfast. And I'm like, I'd rather eat cardboard.
Oh my gosh, it is the Chick-fil-A breakfast that gets me every time. I'm just
I
like,
haven't had
that's
that.
all I want.
I've only had the spicy chicken sandwich. Their fries are really good. You've had their fries,
Yeah, they
Catherine?
are.
No?
No, those waffle fries, they make me gag.
Yeah. Oh
It's
my
like
goodness.
you can't swallow them, man. You're chewing them and it gets stuck. And you're like,
Oh, I
you
love
need
it.
12 things of water to get it down. No.
It's still fast food, right?
Yeah.
It's considered fast food. So all these years I've been doing so good not eating fast food, and then for the last year or so, I've been eating
Got
Chick-fil-A. So I
something.
guess it's technically I'm back to fast food, but I need to get off of that. I'm gonna have a long conversation with my doctor very soon about a lot of things because I'm over 40 now. I'm starting to actually worry about my health to get, like I don't drink soda, so I don't really like sugar. So I was like, oh, I'm good, but there's something going on because I'm gaining weight here that I should not be gaining. So now I'm not working out as much as I have. This last year has been crazy. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But Jamie is saying something here, saying that a lot of people are diagnosed with have a certain issue, but mainly it's to put children into a database and hand them out the medication like handing out candy. I think there is some truth to that, especially
Yeah.
back in our day. It seemed like their answer to everything, and I still see it, their answer to everything. If you're sad, these normal feelings, they want to give you a pill, acting like that's going to solve the problem. And maybe it worked for a couple people, and they were able to use that to say, well, if it worked for these people, it can work on a larger scale. But something like that should be taken very, very seriously, I think, and should not be very general. Drugs should be
Right.
the last case scenario, worst case scenario for someone that you've tried everything else, natural stuff isn't working, et cetera, et cetera. But it just seems like you go to a therapist, and the first thing they want to do is they want to get you on meds. If you tell them that you're sad, which is a natural feeling,
Mhm.
we are sad. We're going to be sad, but because you get that sad feeling, and then you realize what you can do to make yourself better. It's like people who go through, I forget what they're called, Catherine, you might know, the people who can't feel pain, right? And if you don't know what pain feels like, how are you ever going to know how great it is to get over those pains?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, there's a medical term. I can't remember what
Yeah, I
it's.
can't remember. Yeah.
Oh, it's right on the tip of my brain.
Probably neuro something.
I think it's something like it's not calypso. It's oh,
Somebody knows where
I
you
only
can't
trouble
feel your nerves. You're like, you
hmm
can you can put your hand over a fire, and
and you
and
don't feel it.
and you
Hmm.
you, you don't feel it, and that sounds like, wow, that's really scary. But when I heard about that, it made me really appreciate the pains that I've had for my whole life, and it made me also realize that, you know what, there's nothing they can never do to get better, but I
Right.
can, right? I don't have to live with these pains. There are things that I can do to get over these pains. But if you don't know what pain feels like, you never know how great it is to be pain free.
Yeah, and it just what you're
It's
saying. It
called
reminds me. I'm sorry. What?
it's called congenital insensitivity to pain and
There is another medical
anhydrosis
term. Yeah. Huh?
and anhydrosis, anhydrosis. It's called
Hmm.
CIPA syndrome.
Yes. Yes. That's what I was thinking of. Sipper syndrome. Yeah. And it reminds me of this case. As an EMT, we had a little boy come in, and I won't go into the details, but of why he was there. But he had a cut on his leg, and I remember, I'm in there, cleaning up the wound, waiting for, and then the doctor's coming in because you have to get everything cleaned up for the doctor so he can come in and take a look at it. So I'm being real careful, and we knew that the little boy was autistic, but the doctor obviously had not read the chart. So he comes in and he's like, this poor boy, I kid you not, it was probably like a good 4 to 5 inch cut, straight edge cut all the way down to the fascia, which is the covering, the white covering over the bone, straight down there. And the doctor's in there, he's pulling it, he's digging and he's poking, and he's like, oh, wow, he's taking this really well. And we all stop and look at him. We go, like in unison, four of us are like, he's autistic. And the doctor goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And the whole thing is the little boy was feeling it, what that doctor was doing, but he couldn't express that pain that doctor was
Mm.
putting him through. And it's like, what are you doing? So, I mean, that to me is a true autistic child when there's stuff that you see for sure that you cannot change, like with Sophia's grandsons. You can't change what happens with them with their diet, versus the other children who are just running around and being put on medication, when either some discipline and good food would change everything for them.
Awesome.
Hey,
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
good morning. How you going?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah, good
Southern
evening.
Truth 4
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
All right.
Due to censorship, as you all know. But Catherine, I've been for a while been looking at that Kaylee Rodney case. That autopsy came out and saying that it was deemed as an accident, so to speak, and there was no water in the lungs, and there was no false play, so to speak, and there's so many inadequacies that goes along with that thing. And if you've been watching other people's content on YouTube, they are literally bashing Adventures with Purpose because they were the one that made the discovery. They're the one that did a documentary on it. They've been on other podcasts in regard to this, and there's a lot of people out there bashing. Sorry, I got a 4-day growth. I haven't had a shave yet. I will have a shave before I go
I just
live.
shaved 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, but yeah. So basically, that Kaylee Rodney case is now deemed, according to the authorities, it's an accident. Like Adventures of Purpose, Doug, he was on a podcast. Even if the authorities do come out, and they have come out and said it was a accident, many people are just not going to believe it.
So it's an accident. It's an accident because
It's an accidental drowning is what they ruled it, but
no foul play.
she had no water
and she
in
was
her lungs.
and she was in her car, right? She drove her car
She was in the back.
and
They found the body.
She was in the trunk.
They found.
wait a minute.
Nick,
What?
No, it was a CRV, so she was in the cargo.
She was in the
cargo
car
area.
How was that an accidental death then?
Well, see,
Okay.
this is how they found Kaylee. So Nick, who was
Catherine's like, I don't understand either.
I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, Nick was getting trained by Doug because Adventures with Purpose are trying to set up another team. So they got 2 teams now that travel around America. And Nick was the guy that went down diving and located the car, which in a matter of seconds, going underwater, identified the vehicle, got the number plate. It was Kaylee's car. Then they do the identification properly. The window of one of the passenger side was half down. The other passenger window was up. The front driver's window was down, but Kaylee was found in the back seat. Now, when the car goes into the water, it goes on a little bit of a dip and then it rolls over due to the water pressure. Who in their right mind were trying to jump into the back seat and trying to hide themselves under the back seat? Now, was the window popped open before the car went down? Who knows? We don't know. But I do have something I need to say, and no one has ever brought this up. There's a little part of the Adventures with Purpose video when they brought the documentary out. You actually see the tire cracks going down into the waterway.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the day before Adventures with Purpose joined the search, the police have already searched the area. No one said if those tire tracks were actually there, because the police divers already searched that area. They already went into that. They didn't see the car. Doug and Nick went down there. They found the car within 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were within yards of that car numerous times. In fact, on the 16th of August, there is a newscast, and if you pause it at the right spot, you can see that car in the water. You can see it. I sent Catherine the newscast, and I sent her the photo. It's right there. It was on, I believe, day 8 or day 9 of them searching, and they're all right there, searching in the water. It's right there within yards, and they never saw that car.
Yeah, and we need to set it straight, Jamie. It was the rear driver's side where the passenger that was halfway down, but the
Yeah.
passenger's front window was completely open. Driver's side was completely
Correct.
closed.
Yeah, the driver's side was.
Neither
Yeah.
were broken out. They were
I
intact
remember having
but
a spray
down.
in the reverse.
But still, at the same time, if you're going in and the car is not sinking relatively quickly, I mean, it's going to be coming in. We know she was not high. We know she wasn't under the influence of anything. And
but she was at a party.
so what? She was at a
Yeah.
party. Who cares? But the
Yes.
girls' talk screen is really darn good. I know people are talking about it, but it's because they don't have a freaking clue how to read these things. And this is the case.
The
Sophia and I were
ethanol,
talking earlier.
yeah, the
Okay.
ethanol in her system that was found possibly could have been enough for one drink, but they also said that it is caused because
Nobody
of
has
decom.
one drink.
So,
Nobody has.
The autopsy reports
well,
plainly state that it's an artifact of decomp. When you
yes,
when your body
yeah.
starts to decompose, it creates alcohol in the system. So hers is clearly, and they say it comes from decomposition. So she had not had any alcohol to drink.
So when it goes back to the Adventures of Purpose, they interviewed a tow truck driver by the name of Nick.
Yep.
Now, listening to it all and right up until now, in my opinion, that tow truck driver was, in my opinion, was trying to stop Adventures of Purpose going to the actual location where the police were already searching, and they reckon they have, and they cleared it. Because the tow truck driver told Doug and the other guy, Nick from Adventures of Purpose, that he attended a vehicle approximately around the same time of the at 12:30 when the mobile or cell phone went off, and there was another guy there that looked like, in my opinion, according to that statement, it was the appearance of Kaylee's boyfriend. Because if you saw Kaylee's boyfriend on an interview, he's got that shoulder length, kind of like a shoulder length hair coming out the side, wearing that same baseball cap, the SF, which is a San Francisco Giants hat.
Boo.
But in my opinion, looking back at it, it looks to me that the tow truck driver was trying to, unpurposely, trying to get Adventures of Purpose to go away from the actual crime scene and search in a different location. But that's what Adventures of Purpose do. They just scale a map. Anything was inside the 8 to 10 mile radius of the last location, and it's got a waterway, they will scan any waterway that they have. But in my opinion, whether the story from the tow truck driver is actually credible or not, looking back at it from then to now, it feels like that the tow truck driver may have got another car involved and just got Adventures of Purpose to go away from the actual scene. And then a day after, the Adventures of Purpose went back to the original crime scene, so to speak, the location where she was last known to be at, and within 10 minutes found a car.
Can I interject for a second? Now, I went back and I listened to the whole entire interview. We're only getting about 10% of that interview. EWP hasn't released the rest of it. But in that interview, he reiterates near the end that it could have been Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Exactly.
So it could have been that morning before the party happened that he was called out to them. And we don't know until the actual police report comes out, which it hasn't yet. And we're still waiting on the FBI to finish their police report too, because this case is not officially over from what I heard from another police officer.
Yeah, there were two.
Can I play this clip? Go ahead, Jimmy.
There were two different jurisdictions that was involved in this. Even though it's in Nevada, I think it was the county. It crossed over two jurisdictions. So
it was Nevada County, but it was actually in California. Yeah. So it was not Nevada County, Placer County, and then they called in the FBI, and then they had and they're waiting on CHP, California Highway Patrol, to finish their report before they can before Placer County can finish the police report.
You
So
guys also seen the other video that came out where the lights were shining and it looked like a
that
car was
doesn't
going into.
prove
Yeah, it
anything.
doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove anything because there was a guy that did that video. He did a layover. He did a layover like a daytime.
That was
Yeah, that
that
was
was
just
Gray
stupid.
Hughes,
Yeah, it was just
and
stupid. But
Why does
there's a
that
lot of
name sound familiar
oh,
and
you
not
know
in a good
him.
way?
You
Not in a
know
good way.
him.
Yeah.
He's
it
a
was just
clout tracer, is what he is.
He's a
I'm
what?
sorry. He's a clout tracer. Chaser.
Oh, okay.
I said
Okay.
it. I said it.
Now, see, I
Well,
wasn't even going to touch this case for a while, and Sophia kept sending me stuff, and then she sent me information about Kylie's lungs. She's like, "Look at her lungs. Read the report." So I read it, and I'm like, "Oh, holy cow! This girl didn't drown.
Mm-mm.
These are not the lungs of a drowning victim."
so
No,
And
her
apparently, yeah.
lungs.
So
Her
apparently she
lungs
was
were.
was
her
she in the
lungs
Oh,
are
go
water
ahead.
for 2 weeks? Or Sophie and Catherine?
can I mean,
Kyle?
there's probably many people that don't know about this case, including myself. If you don't mind, and we have also William Rail from Strange
Hi,
Investigations has
William.
also
Hey,
joined us
William.
here.
Hello.
But
Hello.
what I would like to do, if it's okay, is I'd like to play. I'd like to look at this. This is like a 1 minute video and get everybody's thoughts on this.
Sure.
Okay, so this is Kylie Rodney, the
Yep.
update. California
Yes.
coroner rules out foul play in missing teens drowning. She's from Truckee, interesting, Truckee, California, vanished after a high school party on August 6th. So I'm just going to play this 1 minute video. Hopefully the audio is okay. If you can't hear it, let me know. And of course, we got to get an ad here, right?
Of course. We've got to
Of
get an ad.
course. All right, we're
Beyond
skipping
that.
the ad. Yeah, I don't need it.
I can't wait to debunk this news story. I'm so excited.
Well, I don't know if anyone can hear it. I can't hear anything.
No volume. Okay.
No
When
volume.
you go to
Ooh.
Google, the share screen, you go down the bottom on the share screen. You say with
Yeah, that's what I thought I did.
with your audio, you press all.
Mhm.
You press all down in the audio. You got to connect the audio to it. It's in the window. So when you do a share screen, you click on the Chrome section, and down the bottom left hand corner there'll be like a box you got to tick that will give you the audio.
Under settings or
Send me that link in the private chat. I'll do it my end. I'll get the
I
audio for you.
yeah, I sent it on the on the public chat, but yeah, let me send it to you in the private chat, and then if there's a way you can
I'll do the screen share.
make that play.
It's just the way that screen sharing is. You
whoops.
gotta click a few things.
Sorry, I sent it
Put
to
in
the
the-
wrong thing.
Put in the
I'm just
private-
okay, let me put in the private chat. So yeah, if there's a way you can
Yep, I can do this.
do that.
Let's check this out. So I'm gonna screen share this. Alright, you go to Chrome. There you go. So you just want to play the audio. Oh, now it's all black screen. Okay, where's the video? Okay. Yeah, no video then, yeah? It's all black. It's all your fault, Greg. You put white out on it.
Boo.
Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go.
There it is. Just takes a load. All right.
We're always caring for others.
Oh, what? So we got, as you know, we've got to add. And, oh, geez.
And now we know Jamie's search history right here. Here we go.
What a stupid ad.
Okay, we're just getting some massage oil here in the.
This is granny fluid.
Oh,
Granny fluid ad right here. There you go.
Yeah, the health and vitamins. Okay, here we go. Come on. There's no sound on the video. Yeah, the video didn't come with any sound by the looks of it.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the video didn't come with sound. That's why you didn't get any sound. Yeah, this video's got no sound. So you're okay there, Greg.
Well, while you're trying to get that figured out,
We
I want
can't
to.
figure it out. We can't figure it out. If the video got no sound, we can't do
Yeah,
anything with it.
yeah. But hold on a
Yeah.
second. I want to go in and talk some more about why I finally just did a small video on this, but Sophia and I are going to do a lot more. We're going to dig into this case because when she sent me that and said, look at the autopsy report and look at her lungs specifically. And when I did that, and then I'm comparing them to Kamel's lungs, and I'm like, wait a second, her lungs are normal. Actually, they're kind of on the lower end of normal, but she's 16, almost 17-year-old girl. So they're not going to weigh a lot, but they definitely are not the lungs of someone who drowned. And then what bothered me, so she sends me that, and then she's sending me some other videos to go watch other people's comments about the case because that came out. And I am listening to everybody without exception going, well, I know we didn't want to accept this, but this is what it was. It was an accidental drowning. And then I'm like, I'm hacked. So I go and I do a quick video because I'm like, you guys aren't, this is where the term, I think, armchair investigator comes in, because these people, all these in every video I was watching, now I'm not talking about the real professionals that are finally starting to come out on this, but these armchair people who have all these thousands and thousands of followers, which I'm like, how the hell do you get all these followers? And you're sitting there going, oh, well, we just have to accept this. So it was an accidental drowning, people. And I'm like, you just read the autopsy report, and that's the best thing you can do. So that was it. I from that point, I go, no, this girl, it needs to be heard. This was not an accident, was not a drowning.
Well, even Doug's from Adventure with Purpose, he said it numerous times. When he drove his RV down to the location, it was rocky. You had big boulders, and it was almost tipping the RV. Now, if that was doing to an RV, imagine what it would do with a sedan.
Yeah, a small car.
A small car. So, and also, it goes back to that, what I was saying, because I picked something up from Adventure with Purpose, where it was just a couple of seconds, where you see the tire tracks going into the river, or into the lake, sorry. But nobody picked up on it. Was those tracks there when the police were doing the investigation, or was those tire tracks there after the police investigation? Because that was the whole...
They're newer.
Yeah.
They were newer.
They were newer.
Because
that was... because that was a lot of argument on YouTube with what Catherine was saying with these thousands of followers, armchair investigators. Was the car actually in the water or after, when the police were there?
My opinion, I don't think it was there originally. And I think it was placed there days after she passed away. But that's my opinion. I cannot prove this. And those cameras have been proven to be hackable. Okay. I can't really get into that right now, but it's been proven that they're hackable, and that overlay is not correct because there's other cars that drive down like 15, 20 minutes after her car supposedly went into the water and do the same exact thing. They're all turning around and going back. So
apparently Kaylee went on a left-hand turn. That not even a road. This is not a road.
Okay, tell me if y'all can hear this or not.
Well, Greg, can you pause that for a second, please?
We can hear the ad. We can hear the ad.
The ad is pretty clear.
That lake, it's not a drop off. You're driving into it and it's an incline. It's not a drop off. So as she's driving into the water, she still has plenty of time to get out. It's not like she hit the water and boom, her car went down 14 feet. Mm-hmm. That's not how it happened. It is a steady incline down.
Yeah, but that road is not actually a road. Like
no, it's not.
And there's
making
no
a-
alcohol. She wasn't drunk or intoxicated, right? The toxicology.
Nope.
She
There
was
has
sober.
been,
Wow, that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
She would
That's
know.
impressive.
Well,
there
and
has
here's
She
been,
something else I want
absolutely
to
would have
point out.
known driving into that water. She
Right.
was
And here's something else I want to point out. On the tox, it says that she had THC in her system at 20 nanograms. Now, when you put that to milligrams, which is what they usually measure it in, that's 0.0002. So she maybe had a hit hours and hours and hours before? I mean, she had very small amount of pot THC in her system. Definitely not enough that it would have impaired her driving. I mean, she was writing legible texts.
But Catherine, didn't she had an argument at the party and she actually had a little of a sleep in the back seat of the car at the party?
We don't know. I mean,
Well,
honestly.
that's
Okay, let me know if you can hear this.
Santa Fe has.
So far, we hear the ad.
Okay, you can hear the ad, but you can't hear.
Yeah, there's no.
I think the video. I think
Yeah,
it's in the video.
Yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying. The video did not have any sound with it. Now, here's another thing.
Well, keep
Video
going
is
and
fine.
see if maybe they'll talk later in the video.
No,
Yeah,
I'll play the whole lot. There's no
Oh,
volume.
Okay,
okay.
the whole thing.
So
There's no volume.
Okay, so
But
they're
here's
just
but here's another
diving
thing.
for
But here's another thing too. There was around about 200 to 300 people at this party. You know, they had adults there. They had children there. It was supposed to be a high
this
school.
was a party near Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had about 200 to 300 people there.
She was seen shortly after midnight.
No. The thing is what you guys are all hearing is from the kids who did not want the attention. The thing is if you go back and you look at that fire wildlife video or whatever, there wasn't a mass exodus. There wasn't 200 to 300 people. There maybe were like 5 or 6 cars at the most. That's it.
Truckee. I don't know if do you guys know the Truckee area? Because I sure do. And this is a very strange area here in
Children of the
Truckee.
Corn area.
This is more like a rural area here. This is interesting that it's in Truckee. William, since you're just joined us here and you haven't chimed in, have you heard of this case yet?
Nope. This first I've actually heard of it.
Yeah, this is probably the first that I've seen a couple news clips and a couple things on it, but yeah, this is this is great. Go ahead. Anyone that wants to talk about it.
I'm going to the video.
I'd like to point out that Kylie had been supposedly passed away for 2 weeks. She had a little bit of pot in her system, whereas David, around the same time frame, did not show pot in his system. They both actually Kylie was more decomposed than David was.
So Kylie had vanished in August.
August
6th, and she was found
in
September. I think either August 21st or 22nd.
Yeah.
August 21st. Interesting.
Let's have a look. So according to,
so she was 15 days out.
Yeah. Was there water in that car and everything, or?
Her car was submerged.
Yeah, it was submerged in 14 feet of water.
I'm just going to give you adventures of purpose. I'm seeing here because I'm just going to show you the tires and if I can find the tire tracks.
There was no alcohol in her system inside the cave, so the kids were drinking and they were smoking pot, but her system was clean. Her toxicology report shows ethanol, but that was an artifact of decomposition. She had no alcohol from drinking in her system.
And the autopsy report shows that.
Yeah,
that it's an artifact.
There was a window open inside the cave. The passenger window was completely open.
Yeah, it was.
And once again, this lake did not have like a drop off. She was driving, or whoever was driving, they drove it into the lake. See? There's no drop off when you hit the water.
So that's Adventures of Purpose video. Now these tire tracks, I just paused it here. This is what screams out for me. Now, the police have already according to them, they investigated the area, but they never found those tire tracks that went into the water. Adventures of
Well, her
Purpose was
phone pinged just yards away from where they found her, too.
yeah. Apparently, her phone went flat at 12:30 or 12:35, around about there, the night of the disappearance, and it's around the time when she went into the water.
Did they
But
find her phone in the car, or was it outside the car?
As we
we don't.
know of right now, they haven't found her phone.
We haven't found it. They
Well,
found a
if it-
They
laptop.
haven't found her phone, but they can track that, right? So
Right.
They
Well,
found
No,
if it's
her
on,
phone
if
died.
it's
Her phone died.
phone
okay,
died.
but
Phone
they would
died.
still know. So, but they know the last known.
It was
Yeah,
here.
which within yards of where they found her car.
Okay,
It's
Well,
right
that's my
there. That's
see.
where
That's
it pinged.
that's my point. Is if they're able to get that last ping, her phone. I mean, if they haven't gone through the car and looked and found the phone, as far as we know,
Mm-mm.
the phone could be kind of a key identifier for some things here. Once
Correct.
again, just proving foul play is if they're pinging it near the car, but it's not at the car's exact location. Which I mean, those pinging the phone, you're never going to have like a perfect, right? It's going to be, give or take this general area. It's going to be,
well, this is not a. This is an area where there may not be a lot of signals
right.
too in this area. I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with this. I did
Greg.
not know that this was in Truckee,
Greg.
California.
Greg. She did
Yeah.
send out her last text message was around about 12:30 on the night to her mother
Okay. From the party or
from this
Yes.
location.
It was from the
from the
party.
party? Interesting.
And so what you're seeing, that
And
right
she's
there,
16?
that's the last ping.
Yeah, she was 16, almost 17.
Okay,
She
sorry, I'm
wasn't
just
supposed to
reading.
be driving after dark. She
She was,
definitely
yeah.
wasn't supposed to be going to parties after dark either.
Now I
She
know what
Well,
you
if it's in August, this wouldn't be a graduation party, but this may be I'm just very curious
some.
about this party.
she
It was a
had
school party.
graduated early. She had gone to a charter school and graduated early. She was supposed to be going off to college.
Wait, she was going off to college at 16?
Yes. Yeah, she
17.
was
Well,
very smart
her
young
birthday
lady.
was her
Inside
birthday was later that month,
yeah.
and so she was almost 17 years old.
Inside the cave said this. I think they might not have searched this area. Well, they did search the area. The police searched this area because the father of Kaylee, who was talking to Adventures of Purpose, when Nick and Doug found Kaylee's car, the father of Kaylee was talking to Doug, and the first word that came out of his mouth, and sorry for the F-bomb, but this is from Kaylee's father. How the fuck did the police miss it? Well, how the fuck did the police miss it?
Okay, who are those two people? You said Nick and
Doug are Adventures of Purpose. They were
Yes,
the ones they were the ones that found Kaylee's car. Now, I am going to play the video.
Okay, can I just yeah, go ahead and play the video. I don't want to
Right.
get too far into the weeds here.
Doug is here. Doug is here in the red shirt. This is Nick in the grainy, bluey shirt. The guy in the glasses here in the checker shirt, that's Kaylee's father. And there was another.
He's young too.
Yeah. This guy in the white shirt, he is putting.
Why is he blurred out?
Because he's the one that is actually running Adventures of Purpose to the ground. He's putting them under the bus. He was doing. That guy is a photographer, and he's supposed to be a criminal investigator, right?
I don't know why he's blurring his face out. The tattoos will
Yeah,
let you figure out who he is, but okay, whatever.
But listen to what the father. I've got to go here. We'll go here. Listen to what the father said to Doug.
My very next
Can you
call will
hear
be
it?
the local authorities.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay.
You see how her car is right there?
Right there with the red thing?
Yes, sir.
How in the could they have missed it?
See? So we just got to play it. Listen to what the father had said. How the hell did they miss it? The police already searched this area, apparently, to the father.
One window's all the way down. Call the authorities.
We help families all across the nation, and when we find out, They are notified first. So we're going to notify them first. My very next call will be the local authorities.
Right there. Look at the car.
Right there.
Wow, that is
Yes, sir.
that's crazy. How couldn't they have found that? I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
We need to hear what the father said. We need to hear what the father says. Very quick.
Some of the window is halfway down. One window is all the way down. Call the authorities.
We help families all across the nation, and when we find out, they are
That's
notified
not
first.
everything
We're
he
gonna notify them
said.
first.
Yeah. Just
My very next call
They
will be
cut
the
it.
local authorities.
listen to what the father says. The father comes zooming down on the moped. Here he is. This is the father.
Yes, sir.
How in the could they have missed it?
See?
Because he can see it from there. And the scuba diver said there was a window down.
Yes, that's what I said. The back driver's
window
side was halfway. The passenger side was all the way.
Did this girl have a boyfriend?
Yes.
Yes.
What does the boyfriend think about all this?
Ask Sophia. She
don't
knows
like
the
it.
most about this case.
He
Was the boyfriend there
is happy
at
that
this
it was
party?
found in No, he wasn't there. He was supposedly 4 hours away.
He wasn't
The
at the party.
ex-boyfriend, I don't know about.
There was some type of
numerous-
there was some type of argument with the guy there, but it's not the boyfriend. It could have been an ex-boyfriend or some type of friend of the boyfriend. Apparently, there was an argument with the guy at the party, and so forth. So whether that's true or
Greg,
not, who knows? I mean,
I
there's
put
another.
I put a link in the chat, the public chat. Can you click on that, please? Because I would like for you all to see this. Her car is in that water. It's exactly where you just saw it.
Yeah, here we go. This is got to wait for the advert to go.
And I sent you an email, Greg. So
Here
there
we go.
is screenshots from this news video that has the car in it, and I circled it for you.
Let's go here.
Missing for 10 days. Investigators say after an amazing amount of resources dedicated to the search, there is still no sign of 16-year-old Kylie Rodney.
This is the 16th of August.
Dedicated to working tips, and they still need witnesses and video from the teen party the night she disappeared. Now, this afternoon, they said they will soon transition from searches to investigating leads. Here's CBS 13's Dina Kupfer.
As the search for Kylie Rodney enters its 10th day, the Placer County Sheriff's Office says there is still no sign of the 16-year-old or her car.
Every day is almost like starting back at square one.
Public Information Officer Angela Musalam says they have no promising leads, despite the more than 1,100 tips they've received thus far.
The Prosser Family Campground is the last known location that we know so far in our investigation where she was last seen. And so as a result of that, we have been heavily combing that area.
Investigators say that is where her phone last pinged after midnight on August 6th.
We still have searchers out there today because that's where she was last seen before her phone either turned off or the battery died.
Detectives from local, state, and federal agencies continue to follow up on new leads and conduct interviews, dedicating hundreds of hours to the search. These pictures show the Washoe County Sheriff's dive team focusing their efforts in and around Prosser Lake on Saturday, August 13th.
They're in the same area.
Washoe County
You see
Sheriff's
it?
Office released
Yeah,
It's right above the 10th.
Yeah, what the hell? That was right there.
Yes,
They were
it was
right
right
there.
there.
So the question's got to be: is was the car there at the time? Of course it was. Or were the police just too damn lazy?
I mean, you see it right there on that news
over the
thing.
weekend of a
Yeah, that's not
sweatshirt
laziness.
Kylie was
That's
wearing
stupidity at
lake
that
on
point.
Saturday,
Yeah.
August 13th.
Right
It's right
That's
there.
right there, yeah.
Let's go back a bit. Here we go.
In and around Prosser
Where is it?
Lake on Saturday.
Right there.
That's
Left-hand
ridiculous.
corner.
That
Right
is
Yeah,
the
there.
car.
but was that photo taken then, or I mean, when
Yes,
was
this
this
was-
photo taken here?
This is the 10th day. This is August 16th.
The
She
car
was
was
found
only
on the 21st.
Yeah, Greg, the car was only in 10 feet of water.
Yeah, I think it said 14 feet,
Yeah,
but still,
14
it's
feet.
still,
Yeah.
it's still.
It was in around about 10 feet. The car just around about what, 3 to 4
And
foot long.
those tracks that we saw, those are supposed to lead here.
Yep.
What's the relevance of those tracks? Because I mean, looking at this, I don't see any tracks leading to where
Because
this
you can't.
is.
Yeah, because they're in a different angle. Because according to Doug from Adventures of Purpose, those tracks were coming off the road leading into. So okay, when you look at
And it
If
could have been
those,
from searchers, though.
yeah, no,
okay, so
from
this,
Honestly.
can we go back to this party? Can we go back to this party? So this was a party that was at this park here. Is that right?
Okay,
Well,
we
it's
have
in a
had
location. It's in a different location. It's in the same area, but in a different location.
there's
Because
rangers that have actually come forward that were there that night, and they said the campgrounds were full. They were all booked up, and there
Mhm.
was no party there that night.
So where's this party
But
supposed to have happened?
I think it was at Boca.
are you thinking where I'm thinking, Sophie? You think the party could have been up where that tow truck driver
Yes.
was caught?
Hmm.
Yeah, at a Boca. Is it Boca? Whatever it is.
Boca Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, Boca
Boca
Lake.
Was there
Reservoir.
How
really a
far away
party? I
is
mean,
that?
yeah, how far away is it?
I don't know if there really was a party because almost everything that has been said by the friends has been proven a lie. Like Sammy said that the last time she
Sammy.
talked to
Yeah, Sammy.
Kylie, that she was the last person to talk to Kylie was at 12:36. We all know that phone pinged a little after 12:30. It wasn't 12:36.
She was heading to her home. She was heading back home, apparently.
Yes, she was supposed to go home to where she lived.
So that was the last text message she sent to her mother that I'll be home soon.
Hmm. Yeah. And they were all saying that she was so intoxicated, and that's why Sammy didn't want to drive with her back. Because she came to the party with Sammy.
No,
Sammy
they were
Smith, her friend.
So they're
apparently
just
was.
And
saying that she went to this party, she got drunk, and she
yes,
ended up in this park in this very specific place where you can see there's other RVs. This is not a place where you can, if you're drunk, you're probably going to hit one of those campers or everything. And they're just saying that she just drove right into this
right into the lake. And
right
you
into the
notice,
lake.
and you looked at the lake. There's no drop off. So
and
she
there's no
would have
road.
known.
And there's no road. There's no road there either.
Well, I mean, plus
And
on top of
here's
that,
the
to be able to
thing.
get right in, she'd have had to have been probably speeding to get that far in, anyways.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, and here's the thing is like the police have the interviews that they did with all of these so-called friends saying that she was drunk and partying, but now they also had the autopsy report that proves she was not drunk and hadn't had any alcohol at all. So, and then they're still going to call it an accident? Really? Without foul play? You have everybody lying about her condition. Everybody who could have something to hide. They're lying about this young girl. Her autopsy's proving them a liar, but yet they still walk away going, it's okay. It's just an accident. It's drowning.
No,
Yeah,
the
how does
alcohol and drugs will not do that while you're decomposing. Once your metabolism stops, that's
okay,
it. And we
but
have
you
a
have
clip from a person
you have
saying that.
you have the witnesses that are saying that she was intoxicated.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They have witnesses saying that, but her autopsy clearly proves they're lying.
Yep.
So instead of going back and saying, what are you guys lying for? Which she's clear. They're just like, fine, whatever.
Well, now it's sounding like it's more like foul play from like the party is most likely what happened.
Thank you, William. Thank you.
Something happened at the party, is what you're thinking?
Yeah,
I don't even think there was a party. I think that she was set up.
Yeah,
honestly.
Right. This is weird.
Because that Sammy girl that Catherine brought up, or was used Sophia, that Sammy girl, she's suspicious too. She's suspicious too.
Oh
now,
yeah.
There has been several eyewitnesses at this alleged party that Sammy and Kaylee was having an argument over some stupid thing. Now, these are teenagers. People are going to have arguments and be jealous about anything and everything.
Right.
What clothes you wear. You talk my boyfriend. You talk my girlfriend. or music that you listen to. But this is something that needs to be looked at thoroughly, and it came out as saying that it was an accidental death, that, yeah, there's no foul play. But if you do look closely at the lights video, there is another car not long after Kaylee goes into the water that many people that are doing these type of stupid things on YouTube that no one's picking up on. Now, we can look at it if we want to, but will it do anything? I mean, someone put a layover over it and turning into in daylight doesn't make anything. Yes, you do see a car going into the water, but is that Kaylee's car? We don't know.
You can't see her driving. You can't see her car. So I mean,
do we know where
there's
the
no
camera's positioned at?
information.
But once again, what people need to understand
Alden
what
Hill.
people need to understand, it's not actual road. Yes, Kaylee was on a road. Then next minute she took a left-hand turn instead of turning a right to go around the bend. People are saying, oh, she missed just a turn. She wasn't traveling like a bat out of hell. This would have been like 45 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour. But she wasn't going around a corner like she's lost control. It looked like, I'm just going on by the video that I saw, right? It looked like she made a left-hand turn that's not even a road and went straight into the water. That's what it looked like.
Alder Hill. Sorry.
Hill.
But Doug says from Adventure with Purpose, when he drove the RV down the same route or route, I call it route here in Australia, you call it route in America, the same route. His RV is wobbling. Kaylee had a SUV, a sedan.
So she had a smaller car. I'm telling you, there's a huge difference. I mean, if you've ever driven in an RV on a road like that, you are going to wobble. I mean, which will be far different than in a smaller car that's lower to the ground. The center of gravity is closer. But this problem still is that she would have felt it. She's an unimpaired driver. She's young. She's probably awake, even though it's past midnight. If she's driving, she would have known. And like Sophia keeps saying over and over and over and over, it's like the car would hit the water straight on. So she would have known she's hit the water. She would have had plenty of time to undo her seatbelt, get out of the car. But that didn't even happen. Not at all.
That goes back to the tow truck testimony. Apparently, this woman that looked like Kaylee was asking the tow truck driver how to fasten the seatbelt. But the problem wasn't the seatbelt. Apparently, she couldn't turn the lights on properly or some type of electrical fault. That's why the tow truck driver got caught out. It was an electrical fault. But according to the tow truck driver, Nick, he was adamant that the girl in question, was fixated on how to fasten the seatbelt. Now,
I think it was code for help. Because if you remember what the tow truck driver said,
apparently the tow truck driver also said there was another guy there that looked.
That's what I was going to ask. So she wasn't by herself.
No.
When this happened.
Okay,
so,
hold on.
But they wouldn't get close to each other either.
Sophia, now with those two young people, when I saw that interview, I don't remember the tow truck driver saying it was Kylie for sure, but a young woman with blonde hair, and then a guy that he described that fit the boyfriend.
Because
I think
a week later.
Okay, I know, but I want to hear Sophia because she's what happened.
No, I think that Doug had shown him a photo, but it was edited out, saying, "Did you see this person?" Because from what Doug said, he said that the tow truck driver was very sure that he saw her. Now,
an unedited version that needs to they've got an unedited version
it needs to come out.
It needs to come out, and Doug said this. It may or may not come out. Now, Jared went on another podcast and he said, if you actually listen to the full testimony from the tow truck driver, your face would drop to the floor.
And that's what everybody wants to hear, but I don't think it's ever going to come out now.
No.
Well, this case is not closed, right? Whatever
Not
the coroner
officially.
says, Yeah, whatever the medical, whatever they say is whatever their view is, which is weird that everybody that not us, but that the mainstream media is just kind of latching onto it. Boom, they're ruling out foul play, which is something we tend to see in cases they don't want to continue to cover because it creates so many questions. They may actually have to do some research,
Right.
which you guys
Because-
and you ladies have already done.
This
So
is
I got
the
a question
Truckee
about
way.
the boyfriend here. So is the boyfriend, has he got any famous connections, or is he any politicians he might be related to? Anybody rich?
Yes, the new boyfriend. Yes.
The old
Interesting.
boyfriend, I reckon it could have been the old boyfriend.
Now, new boyfriend, you say new boyfriend, how do we know how new? Weeks, months, years? And then what's the situation
just
with
probably weeks at the most.
Are they local to this Truckee area? Do we know? Because
Yes.
Yes.
okay,
She
the
grew
reason
up
why
here.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean
So it's not like she got
that's a very interesting area.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's just very interesting to me.
And Greg,
And that-
look up
and
the
that-
Truckee Way and read their town. What is it called? Town bylaws. That is very pod people right there.
Yeah,
And
this reminds me of the stuff that Steven Sanzeri has covered in his book.
Mhm.
It's like it's one of those very close-knit areas where they're just like they don't want to be shamed. They don't want a case like this, and they want it to just they want people to
Have it
stop
disappear.
talking about it. Yeah, pretty much. That's it,
I mean,
William.
So my question is,
Adventures of Purpose are going through a lot of crap right now because there was another cold case, a 19-year-old boy, I think it was, who committed suicide. He dropped the letter up to his girlfriend. He broke into the high school and left the letter for his girlfriend, and they found the car. That case was on Dr. Phil. Now, the mother of that son basically didn't speak to Jared and Adventures of Purpose for a long, long time because she wasn't ready for it. She wasn't ready for the outcome. She was leading up that the son was going to rock up one day up the driveway, so that didn't happen. And then when Adventures of Purpose was on Dr. Phil's show, they brought up this Kaylee thing. And it's like Adventures of Purpose is just getting smashed to smithereens by the haters because they think that they're covering up something. And the reason for that is they believe that Adventures of Purpose is covering up because of the unedited video of the tow truck driver testimony. Now, at that particular time, it was still an open investigation. They didn't want to sabotage that. They just moved on. They've gone on to another case, and they sold another 2 cases after Kaylee.
Yep.
So,
they did.
Yes, Adventures of Purpose are getting absolutely smashed right now.
There's
Absolutely smashed.
if you don't mind, just because you probably all of you have done definitely more research than I've looked at this. Just reading from this, I would love to get your thoughts on this, if you don't mind. Okay, I'm just going to read a couple things. Please feel free to stop me at any time here. So, gee, I don't even know where to begin here. So she was, yeah, that's usually the best place. She was last seen shortly after midnight at a large. This is all according to the Fox News report. This is all according to the person who wrote this news article here. Okay, this is dated October 13th. So this is just a couple of days ago. Now, it's always good to find, you all have probably looked into this, so you probably have seen how the story has changed, I'm guessing. So, but reading just from what this says, she was last seen shortly after midnight after a large party at Prosser Creek Reservoir at the Tahoe National Forest near Truckee, California. Authorities initially treated her disappearance as a possible abduction. Searched for the area more than 2 weeks, not finding any signs, etc., of a silver Honda CR-V. Despite conducting more than 100 interviews, investigators struggled to locate anyone who had seen her leave the area.
Accessed by a bumpy dirt road, yep.
That's okay. Then on August 21st, 2022, the Adventures with Purpose, a for-profit YouTube search group and rescue, revisited the reservoir and found her vehicle upside down. That's another thing. Upside down.
They got that wrong. That's a misspelling there. A for-profit YouTube, it's a non-profit.
It's a non-profit.
It's a non-profit. It's volunteers. So they got that. They're just a misspelling there. So.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Because there's usually very few groups that are for-profit that will actually put, "Hey, we're for-profit." By then, the water.
Greg,
yes.
Greg, I'm sorry. Adventures. The Jared and Doug, both with Adventures from Purpose, describe over and over how the cars flip upside down. It makes lots of sense. So if you want to hear it directly from them, watch one of their videos and they'll explain it.
Can you kind of summarize?
Well, it's when you go in, it floats, and then as the water starts to fill in, it because there's air up here or whatever. I don't even know, but it does it so that it flips. So and then as it's filling, it flips, and then it just goes under.
Yeah,
and that could be.
That's it. The tires are buoyant. Because there's air in the tires, and then as the car's filling with water, then air is going to go up, so then it just flips it.
Yeah.
And could that also be tied to the window, one window being open, et cetera, et cetera? Could that also could that also be tied to the tides of the river or this lake? Could it, the pressure?
Not in this case.
There's no tides. No.
Yeah, in this case they said no because the way it was soot and silt, and so they said they were down when the car went in, and plus there was no glass inside the vehicle, no glass on the bottom of the
no glass in the side. So if Nick and
go ahead,
so Nick from Adventures of Purpose said if the glass would have got broken before the car went down, you would have seen some glass shades inside the slot where the window was. According to him, there was no glass inside the slot. He'd done a thorough check down underwater. That's what they do, Adventures of Purpose. They do a thorough check, a thorough investigation, identification, so to speak. There was no broken glass on the bottom of the water, inside the car, or in the slot where the window was. There was no broken glass whatsoever.
Okay.
Well, the interesting part is that you got it was the passenger. It was like right behind the driver, the front of the car. So you got those back windows, not the very back, but those windows right there in the middle. Those windows you got one that's halfway down. You got the other one that's all the way down. I mean, to me, that seems like if you're driving into a car or driving into a lake, you're trying to go and fill it up a certain way, maybe. But you're also trying to find a way to get the hell out. So it seems like to me, I mean, it doesn't make any sense if you're driving, even, allegedly alone. Why would you put your back windows down like that?
Well, according to this, looking at this video, they were able to. She
smokes vapes.
She smoked. So she vaped. Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. If she was by herself, why not just have the driver's side down?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
That's the part that's kind of weird, because I think almost anybody that drives and they smoke, they're going to have their side of the window down. So if there's other windows down, my thought is maybe there was other people in the car.
So the police had searched this area, the Prosser Creek Reservoir area, prior to this nonprofit company finding the vehicle. Is that correct?
Yep.
They did it numerous times. They even had Alameda County dive team out there searching.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
They're
because
blind.
the dive team would have record and things like that. Is there a possibility this truck or this vehicle was inserted into the reservoir after all of that had been done?
That could be a possibility. That could be a possibility. That's a question that's on everybody's lips. Was the vehicle, Kaylee's vehicle, placed in the lake or the reservoir after the police have already investigated?
But it was there on the 16th because you saw it in that video.
Yep.
It's right there in the water.
Well, police would be in that area, probably even up until they're done searching. They're generally in the area for a while.
So
they're going to have at least an increased presence. So that just tells me that if this was after, then they knew about the time the police were there, or they knew where they were, so they were keeping an eye on us. So they could go get the car there and then in.
How do you rule it? how do you rule it an accidental drowning with no alcohol or anything in her system?
Well, there's no water in her lungs either. Her lungs are absolutely perfect for her age.
But the
That's
medical
what
examiner,
they,
but the medical
yes,
examiner says
yes,
that she died of drowning, right? Is that correct? But the medical
correct.
examiner, okay, but the medical examiner cannot say whether it was an accidental
Okay.
drowning. How
Would
do
you
they rule
explain
that?
that? Would you like me to explain that?
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
please,
It's
please.
called
Okay.
corruption,
Because I'm
Greg.
so confused. I
Yeah.
am.
And I mean, I agree with Sophie. I think there's more to it. But in the terms and how these things work, when there is an absence of like obvious death, there was no blunt force trauma, there was no gunshot wounds, there was no stabbings, there was no sign of suffocation, there was nothing that pointed them toward homicide. So they say. I mean, we are looking at the other clues going, hey, there's some fishy stuff here, but they're looking strictly at her body. And because her body doesn't tell them that this was a homicide, they're left with it would either be undetermined or accident. But that for some reason, this ME felt like it was just an accident. She was in her car, it went in the water. So because of that, and there's nothing else on her body to prove murder or homicide, they call it accident. And then
That's bullshit.
death by drowning because her body's in the water.
Well, quick question here: did they say anything if her hyoid bone was intact or not?
No, it was intact.
Everything's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that,
No bruises, no cuts, no nothing.
and while they were dragging the vehicle out back to the tow trucks on land,
Mhm.
all the
They flipped it.
all the content that was inside the vehicle spilled out that open window. So like the laptop. Now there has been other reports that this SUV must have had a sunroof. Well, I don't see any proof of that. There has been other reports that Kaylee's car had a sunroof.
It's an
Yeah.
it's an SUV though. SUVs aren't gonna. I mean, unless you purposely drive it into this lake. And looking at those tire tracks, those tire tracks don't. I mean, okay, Jamie, can you pull that back up? That image that you have of that you had of those tire tracks, because it looks like either they're going out into outer space at some point. But I mean, where do the tire tracks? If that image that you had up shows us where the tire tracks started, that doesn't make sense. And obviously, it doesn't
Okay.
make sense that the tire tracks ended
Here's
there.
the
What
thing,
is the relevance of the
Greg.
tire tracks? Go ahead, Sophia.
There's
The
probably
tire-
no relevance to the tire tracks, only because there's been search teams out there, people kayaking out there. I mean, people drive right up to the water, put their kayaks in. I have video of that.
Okay,
So,
what
I
is
mean,
the
it could,
source of these tire tracks? Do we know?
we don't know. We don't know.
These
The
tire
only
tracks
thing,
just came from this video from the nonprofit group. Is that
yes.
correct?
They just focused on it. I don't know if it
So,
was from,
now
I don't think it
the
was
This
from
this
Pinterest.
makes absolutely no sense.
now
Go
the,
ahead. So
does.
go. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, we got a timeout by Catherine. Uh-oh. Catherine's
Okay.
calling timeout.
As a
Hey.
photographer, I am telling you, they took it just as it's a great photographic picture because it shows tire tracks that could be leading into the water and are they hurt? It's to get emotion. It's a great photograph by a very good photographer.
But
Because
it has nothing to do with this case.
it might not even have anything to do with it. However, because like she said, but from a photographer standpoint, if I saw tracks like that, I would have taken a picture just like that. And because it's so compelling, you have a car, you have water, you have tracks, not to say that they all go together, but you're going to take that photo and then that photo speaks to people who look at it. It draws up emotion. And that's what they were trying to do.
I truly believe that there was a tire track that went into the water. I mean, We can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree.
But the thing is that unless track tires impressions were done to prove it was her vehicle, it doesn't mean anything. Like Sophia was saying, it could have been a multitude of people, their tire tracks, driving their vehicle down there to drop something off in the water.
I get what you're saying, but those tire tracks look pretty fresh to me, and that's why I'm leaning.
And that's the problem. They look fresh. Her vehicle was in there for 2 weeks. And
do
those
we know
don't
that?
look like
close to
it.
But do we know that? But do we know that for sure, though?
Well, we saw the vehicle in the water when the FBI were down there.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. But
okay, take a screenshot of it and zoom in.
Yeah,
it's her car.
There's a long time from when that was done to when her vehicle was found by Adventures with Purpose. So unless they do specific track prints, can take a mold of that or a print of that, compare it with her tire tracks, you cannot say for certain that was her vehicle. You can't. Nobody can.
I'm saying that the car was put there after the police did.
And that's a possibility. It's a possibility, but we don't, unfortunately, we have to be careful and just say it's possible.
I am being careful, but what I'm saying is because there's been so much backlash in all of this since this investigation actually started, right? Where I'll be looking at that lady Sammy, that girl, that I'll be looking at her. I'll be looking at the father, the mother, right? Even that guy that goes, I don't know if you guys heard it, there's a guy that goes around by the name of SF Investigator. He's been throwing Adventures with Purpose under the bus right now. He was the guy that was standing next to the father, the blurred out Greg. That was the guy that was blurred out. He calls himself SF Investigator. He's a photographer. Right? He was supposed to be working on the case at the time and blah, blah, blah. Now, the moral of the story is the police already searched this area. They found nothing. But as soon as Adventures of Purpose got involved, and they got a call from one of the family members to come down free of charge to look into this case. They found this car within 2 days. They've already had over 19 organizations for a couple of weeks beforehand. They came up with nothing. I truly believe because Adventures of Purpose managed to find the car in 2 days, made the authorities look complete amateurish. And how many times have Adventures of Purpose have had butting heads with local authorities? Because one, the local authorities, they claim, don't have the funding to do this type of work, to look at stoner underwater research and blah, blah, blah. But as soon as Adventures of Purpose are on the scene, they locate, they will say to the local authorities, all right, we hand it over to you, but we are willing to work with you free of charge. They don't want to do that. And unfortunately, with Adventures of Purpose, they're always button heads with local authorities. Always. And because they found that car, all this freaking hate goes towards Adventures of Purpose.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, now it's legal. Go ahead.
Well, it just shows that the police were either they were that inept, they're just trying to go and just kind of glaze over it, or, I mean,
they knew that it was there.
Right. There's only a few different ways this can really work, and
but now you have a legal issue. Yeah, but now you have a legal issue. That's why the police are going to shut up now. That's why the authorities are going to shut up and just try to kind of push this out there, which is probably why we're going to see a lot more news articles that are going to be just like these ones that we are seeing here. Well, right? Where
the one thing I would like to point out is if you look at it this way, we're seeing investigations like this happening all the time. They've been getting increasingly worse and worse and worse. More and more corruption is being discovered. You got more and more people saying, well, wait, the police aren't even doing their job. I'm all for the police being there, if they're actually doing their job. If they're covering crap up, they have no purpose. They're just like the FBI, no purpose, And so that's the thing we're seeing here. And I think that's exactly what's going on with this case, just like with the Justin Anders case and a few other cases we've seen over the years. All these people are getting killed, and they're just like, oh, cover up, just like with David Crowley, they're just getting covered up, glazed over, because they know there's something there, but they don't want to go and touch it because they know it's going to be a bigger problem.
Well, yeah,
And wait until you see the documentary about Placer County, because that will open your eyes to exactly what just happened.
Yeah, I don't
it's
know
called
if you
Everyone
guys,
Counts.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a $75,000 reward to locate the missing Kaylee. Well, Bankers of Purpose found the car, found the Kaylee.
And they should get the money.
Well,
But,
apparently,
yeah,
apparently there's a lawsuit going on because the family has withdrawn the reward since Kaylee has been found, and because it was the Bankers of Purpose that found the car, the reward not going over to them. Now, Bankers of Purpose been in this situation before. There was another case that they found. And that was
Ethan something or other.
Okay,
Ethan?
but this reward was set by the family or by the police?
Yeah, by the family.
By the
It was by the
family,
family.
who is
It was
probably going to sue
Greg.
the police at this point. Go ahead.
It was through GoFundMe. They raised that money specifically to give as a reward for finding Kylie, and they
Okay.
kept the money.
The family kept the money.
Yes,
So it was raised by other people donating, and then the family kept the money instead of giving it to the people who found her.
Yes.
There's
That's what Jamie is trying to say.
Issues there.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That
and
brings
also,
the family and its suspects at that
like,
point. Why?
Right?
Yeah, and Bankers of Purpose been in this situation before in another case that they solved early in their number count. Like we're up to number 25 now, but one of the early cases. I think it was that guy.
Was the Ethan Hawke case or something.
Ethan Hawke. That was over $100,000 reward. I think it was 125, 150. Give or take. They went through the same situation. A lawsuit. There was a reward to find and locate the missing person. Bankers of Purpose found it, and it got dragged through the mud again. Lawsuit created. Boom. Same scenario here. Bankers of Purpose were called to find Kaylee. There was a $75,000 reward to locate and find the missing Kaylee. They did within 2 days.
Yeah.
And boom.
They're heroes. It seems like they're, this is frustrating. Are they involved in any lawsuits currently? AWP.
Not that I know of, but this one is definitely going into a lawsuit. This one here that we're talking about.
The family should be suing. There's not much that they can't do much, right, until the case is officially closed and all of that stuff. This kind of presents a roadblock into that case. So it's interesting the way that this news article is phrased compared to what is actually in the article. This is very interesting. It's a very interesting case here.
Over everything.
But another thing you need to understand too, Doug from Adventures of Purpose, he was adamant that they wanted to get the car out themselves because the way that the authorities got the car out was just not the standard that Doug's been pulling cars out of water for all his life. Like he used to be a tow truck driver before he came into Adventures of Purpose. But Doug was adamant. They wanted to do the rigging and getting the car out themselves. But once it becomes a crime scene, Adventures of Purpose hands everything back to the local authorities. And mistakes will unfold. That's what Doug said, and I agree with what Doug said. Mistakes will happen, but because it's an insurance thing, this is what it comes down to. It comes down to insurance.
Now there's lawyers involved. You're going to get the state. You're going to get some attorneys involved here to say, they're just CYA, right? They want to make sure that people aren't going to start suing them, which the family should. This is really interesting here to me.
So why did you have that highlighted, Greg?
This is interesting. She's in the back of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So they go down there and they find her. They
Yep.
find the body in the
Yeah,
back
Nick.
of the vehicle that is turned upside down,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
no?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Because
vehicle's upside
they
down.
don't say that here. Obviously, this is Fox News. They're just going to clip whatever they want to clip. But does Nick say, "Hey, the car. We went into the car. I went into the car and it was upside down."
No, you don't have to go into the car. He was down there and you could clearly see that the vehicle was upside down and she was in the back of the vehicle.
Okay,
in the cargo area.
but he has confirmed
Yes.
Oh yeah.
that he
He
okay.
could see her.
Yeah, because when
But he has
Right.
confirmed that the car was upside down when he
You
was
see
down
it.
there.
It's on
correct?
video.
Yeah, Nick.
He's filming as he's going
Greg.
down, and you see it.
Okay, yeah,
Greg.
I haven't seen the video.
Yeah, Greg. So when Adventures to Purpose does a cold case and they've located cars, there's radio communication between the diver and another person from Adventures to Purpose. Could be Jared, could be Doug, could be anybody. And there's a communication, a two-way communication. Vehicle's been located. I have the
Okay, but if the car is upside down, it's possible. If she didn't have her seatbelt on, it's possible that doesn't mean that she wasn't in the driver's seat, right?
No, she wasn't. Nick from Adventures to Purpose was identifying the vehicle. That's what they do. They locate the vehicle and then they do a thorough identification of any windows that's been popped. Are the windows up or down? Is there anybody in the vehicle? As Nick was going around the vehicle, because he was touching the glass to see if the windows were broken, he was going around. First thing he saw in the passenger thing, he saw some shoes. Right? Doesn't say there was any human remains of that. He just said he can see some shoes. As he went around the back of the vehicle and to the other passenger window, when it comes around, it's on video, he comes around, as soon as he sees the window, identifies that he can 100% identify human remains in the back seat of the vehicle. He radios that straight to Doug, who's up on the boat. He said, I can confirm. I found human remains in the vehicle.
Right, but if the car is upside down, what is the relevance of in the backside of the vehicle?
And
It's not like she's in the back seat because it's upside down.
Greg, hold on. To answer your question, because I had that same question. So let Sophia tell you because you had the same type of vehicle, right? So let her explain why this is such a big deal.
Okay, you have to be able to push your seat all the way back to climb into the back, number one. So, and when they pull that car out, her seat is pushed all the way to the back, her driver's seat. So either somebody really tall was driving or she was, and she had time to push it all the way back. Now, it wasn't one of those electrical seats where you have to sit there and push the button and wait for it to go back and back and back. It was a lift and you just push back. So her seat's all the way back. She climbs into the back. The problem is getting to the cargo area. The cargo area is a struggle because those back seats come up pretty high. So she's not only upside down at this point, supposedly, if she's chasing the air pocket is what they call it. She would be upside down in pitch black in cold water trying to get to the trunk of her car to get out. She's passing the driver's passenger side window that's down completely. She's passing the driver's back seat passenger that's halfway down to get back there. She has no bruises, no scrapes whatsoever. Sorry. And
that means she could have been asleep already in the back seat.
She could have been asleep. She could have been passed out. Well, she was not alive when she went into that water because there's no water in her lungs. Her lungs weigh what a normal person, her weight would have been if they just died normally. of natural causes, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, there's no indication she breathed in water and drowned.
Mm-mm. No.
And also you
And
got a console in the middle of the vehicle too. You got a console. To get
Yes.
from the driver's side, you got to jump over the console into the back. She was in the back seat already.
Yeah, so here's the thing is like they want us to believe, and this is what, because I didn't know this vehicle, so Sophia had the car, so she knows. And then when she was telling me how close the back seats are to the roof, and if it's flipped upside down, why is she going to try
not that
to
much space?
Yeah, why is she going to go and try to swim under to get to a back instead of just getting out of a window and going up?
Probably because the water would be gushing through that window.
Yeah, you only got 2 minutes.
And
apparently.
she's also upside down. So you're not going to find her in an upside down
Yeah,
seat.
but you're not going to
find
fight
her
and use up all of your energy and what breath you have to try to squeeze through this tiny space, hoping maybe you can get over here when you can just go, yes, there's water coming in through here, and either climb out because you still
can't
see
climb
water.
out through running water, especially at that, right? If the water is filling up that much, you're not going to climb. You can't. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't go.
Let me reiterate, though. There was no steep incline. It was a gradual incline. So she either purposely drove her car in there until the water filled up and she no longer could get out, or she was in the back dead already.
Or there's other things too, but I mean, just looking at it, if you just look at, okay, how did they find her body? They say she was in the back seat. She couldn't have been seated in the back seat because the car was upside down.
No, she wasn't in the back seat.
Okay, let me go back to what they say, to what he says. He says she's in the back of the vehicle, right?
Yep.
So she's running. She's in the back there, but the car is upside down.
Right.
It
and she's in the cargo area,
dive.
aka trunk, but they don't call it a trunk.
Yeah, it took a nose dive. So it's like this, the front, and then it went like that because it turtled.
Because the engine heavy one, and also the.
But they don't know that. They don't know that either, right?
No, but
they have a best guess based on their experience.
Most of the cars that they find are like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then people are saying, well, why would you be hiding yourself underneath the back seat? Well, maybe she was trying to escape and she just lost air. But once again, according to the autopsy, there was no water in the lungs. So it just goes to say that.
No water in her stomach, no frothing, no nothing. There's no signs of drowning.
So then why does the medical examiner think that this was a case of drowning?
That's what we're questioning.
Right, and we're not going to be able to find that out until the case is closed and they make a statement, which they probably won't include a lot of that in there. People will have to request that data to find out what the medical examiner says in this area. That's probably not going to be difficult, and it's probably you have it.
That data.
So you have the medical examiner data.
There's
So that's already public, even though the case is not closed.
Yeah.
Correct.
But here's another thing that I need to put on the table. Could it be a possibility that Adventures of Purpose were threatened by the local authorities? Because if you actually hear what they said on other people's podcasts, they were trying to paint the picture by one, saying there is an unedited version that may or may not come out. But two, they also said this. They also believe that this has the high regard in suspicion. And if the autopsy like this one comes out and saying there was no foul play, many people are not going to believe it, including Adventures of Purpose. So the autopsy gets released, it's deemed as an accident and whatnot. Could it be, and now since the autopsy has come out, Adventures of Purpose is saying that we have to respect the decision that comes out. Now, the question is...
That's weird. That's pretty weird.
Could it be a possibility that Adventures of Purpose were threatened, even though in their mind, and we haven't seen the full cut. They've got about over 10 hours of footage still sitting there. According to Doug and Jared, there's over 10 hours of footage unedited. They have also said, if you listen to the full unedited version of the tow truck driver interview, you're like this. But now that the autopsy has been released 4 days ago, Adventures of Purpose, that came out that
they support the police's decision in this.
So were Adventures of Purpose threatened?
Well, I mean,
Well,
anything.
do they explain why they support it?
No.
They work with the police officers. They need
Yeah.
them to do what they do.
For other
I mean,
cases.
it makes sense, you know, because when they went down there and the guy came up and he goes, this looks suspicious. And he was highly shaken up. And then, so it came, and it was public knowledge that they were calling it suspicious and they didn't think that this was an accident. And then they got a huge bunch of backlash. I mean, people were attacking them left and right. I'm pretty sure that this part of that was probably coming from law enforcement as well. And then now all of a sudden they're like going, well, it's an accidental drowning. I mean, so they've got to shut up because they have a business. So if they don't shut up and backtrack and just keep their mouth shut, they could lose everything.
And where do they get their money from?
Donations and people
Donors.
buying the merch. Donations.
Jamie.
Go. Yeah.
Were you playing AWP's video earlier when you were saying, now look what, that was AWP's video?
Yes. Yeah.
That you were playing? So they cut out the part where Nick came up and said, call the cops. This looks suspicious.
Yep.
And
I think AW's
so they cut that.
biggest mistake that day was sending Nick down. That was a huge mistake. They knew this was a big case. The guy was brand new, had never really dove.
No, he's not brand new. Nick
he
not
had
brand
never
he's
dove
brand
and
new
found
to
a body.
them.
He was brand new.
No, you got that wrong.
Yes.
He
No,
said
you're
so,
wrong.
Jamie. He
You
said
are
so.
wrong.
He worked with Jared. Him and
He
Jared.
said this was his first body. That's my point. They made that mistake. They should have sent down.
Wait, that was
Doug?
the first time that he found a body.
Nick's first body, which was a huge
but okay,
mistake.
but wait, was that the first time that he went and looked for a body?
No, that was his first body. He was brand new to finding a body. So
right,
they
to finding a body, Catherine. But was it the first time that he went and had done something similar to look
if
for
you
a
guys
body?
would not interrupt and just let me fucking finish a thought, we might be able to get through this. Here's the point. The guy had never found a body before. He should have never had the choice to go down there.
With Jared
well, finding a
Doug should have
body.
gone down there because he'd done this before. He would have known what to do. He would have done a more thorough test. That poor guy was under so much stress, he couldn't figure out that he was highly and visibly shaken by what he saw.
Right, but that doesn't answer my question. I just asked a question.
Hold on.
All I did was ask a simple question.
I need to clear up something, Catherine. Right? Nick worked with Jared before Adventures of Purpose was even eventuated.
That's not what I said.
Correct.
Just listen. He has found bodies before. He's the authorized diver. He said he had not.
He said he had not.
Fuck you, Catherine.
He said he had not.
Fuck you, Catherine.
Don't talk to me like that. I don't know who you think you are, but he did not say that.
He has worked with recovery body before. Sorry, Greg. But I'm not going to be over-talking this in a way where they don't think their shit stink. Right? And this is why we have a problem on YouTube, Greg. There's too many people think they know they're fucking all high and mighty.
Well, that didn't go so well. My only question was, he didn't find. This is the first time he's found a body. My question was this the first time that he had looked for a body? Was this the first time that he had done something like this? That was the only question that I had. So, I think there's just a lot of misunderstanding on it, pretty much. He said he had found, Jennifer says, He said he found a body before. Okay, yeah, I mean that's I don't know. I mean, again, this is all new to me. So whether this is the first time he was searching for a body, the first time he found a body, that was interesting to me. I mean, the whole case is pretty fascinating when you think about this. And um, just going back to this, she's in the back of the vehicle. That's what he says after swimming back to the surface. So I'd love to see that video, and yeah, it'd be good to see the full context of that video too. It says she's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious. Now, of course, with the Fox News, they may not have. They obviously did not say, "Hey, the car was upside down in the water," which again, to me, also raises questions too. How is that possible? How could the car be upside down? There's obviously, if that's what they saw, that's what they saw. It's not the first time we've seen a car that was upside down in a river, in a lake, et cetera, et cetera. It's just interesting that that they had said that. The police later confirmed the remains found inside the submerged vehicle belonged to Rodney. So at this point, these guys, and I've never heard of them up until this point. These guys are heroes. These guys, they did what the police couldn't have done, what the police did not do, right? When you think about the David Crowley case, this is like Chris Klein finding a bullet hole in the living room ceiling that the police could not find when it comes to the David Crowley case. It's kind of the same thing. From that point, you have lawyers that are involved. There's a lot more involved in this. So that was my only question on that. Nevada County. See, Nevada, I mean, this is an interesting area. That's all that I want to say on that for now. But we know people in that area. A forensic pathologist found, quote, there was no other information. See, it says a forensic pathologist. So I'm assuming this is the forensic pathologist that was supposed to be tied to this case. And hey, if anybody wants to come back, Jamie, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just, I want to get, if you want to say something, I do not like the cussing on any end. Definitely do not, we should never talk like that to women at all, definitely. But if you want to come back on, you're definitely free to. I see that I think Sophia is back on here. So if you want to bear with me here for a few more minutes, pardon my ignorance for this case.
No, it's fine.
I'm just asking questions. Go ahead.
It's very confusing, number one, and number two, when you start to read the articles and everything, it doesn't line up. Just like with the Crowley case, it doesn't
Can I
line
ask you a
up.
question? Can I ask you a
Uh-huh.
question? So you have the medical examiner report. Is this the official medical examiner hired to do this? Because the way
Yes.
that this
hmm
Fox News thing, it says that a forensic pathologist found, quote, but that's based on the person assigned to this, or is that like a third party? Do we
It could have
know?
been
Obvious.
Placer County. It could have been Nevada County, who they don't mention which one, so it could have been
Right,
anybody. But
right.
I do have her stuff. It's screenshots because I got it off of a video that somebody else had got the actual paperwork. I'm waiting until November 1st because that's when everything is supposed to be completed and the rest of the paperwork should be done at that time.
And those screenshots that you have should match whatever you're able to
Yes.
request
hmm
later on. Okay.
hmm So, I mean, and as you're looking through it, she was a normal, healthy 16-year-old. And, there's nothing wrong with her body. She wasn't choked to death. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe she was slipped an overdose of fentanyl and maybe died because they didn't test for fentanyl.
It's really
But
interesting that the way that the article reads is that and maybe in the medical examiner report it says yes, this person died from drowning, right? But the way that
mhm,
the article reads that there was no information to suggest that this was that she was a victim of foul play. Pretty much saying
correct.
similar to what they say about David Crowley. There was no information to suggest that anybody but David did this.
Well, I mean, if they would have tested the passive blood drops, maybe they might have proof of somebody else being in that house.
Yeah,
But
and this is an area that I know very, very well. So if yeah, so we can, I mean, if there's, we can always make sure we can get any of that data. If, sometimes these areas they want you to, you have to go to the actual place, fill out a form, et cetera, et cetera. There's always ways to get this. So I'll be very curious to see. I'm also interested in the people that have this data that are not sharing it. That makes me, that always bothers me with any of these cases. They give you screenshots in a video, but they don't give you a link to where you can actually see the document, right? That's, I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
that's, I,
I'm
I
sorry. I
mean,
was responding to Jennifer.
okay. Yeah, maybe I should check on the chat. But so you have screenshots of the
Uh-huh.
autopsy report, but there's no link to where you can download it, correct?
No, no. I could send you what I have because it's in my Dropbox.
Yeah, it just I just that bothers me. I don't know, and it's just a weird thing. It's just if you have it, then share it, then give it to everybody who wants to look into this case, especially if it's going to help us understand what really happened here. To put it in a video is awesome. That's great because more people are going to watch video than actually want to read it, to download it for themselves. But for us who want to actually read the autopsy, the medical examiner report for ourselves, it's very frustrating that a lot of the time in a lot of these cases that I found personally, they do not make it easy for you to find that document that you can read for yourself. That's just frustrating to me. So the autopsy.
Jennifer was asking about the alcohol. There was 88 milligrams or 0.88 milligrams in her blood system, but then they said that it was due to process of decomposition. So it wasn't titled alcohol; it was ethanol, and they basically said it was because of decomposition. Just like David had ethanol in his system too, but that was because of decomp.
Okay.
So just to answer that question for Jennifer.
So they're saying they expect a full autopsy report ready for November 1st. That makes me very curious about whatever screenshots that you have, what the websites are. We could talk about that, wherever you got this data, how they got this data. Should they have legally gotten this data at this point?
They sent a FOIA. The only reason why I haven't done that is because I want the entire case.
So they sent
And
the FOIA
so
and they got maybe a summary, kind of like, hey, this is what we know so far.
they
Okay.
got an 18-page summary. And
Okay. So I mean, do
this
you
is from
know?
Nevada County.
Okay, does any of the screenshots or anything that you say, does it tell you exactly the medical examiner's office, which
Mhm.
medical examiner's office, et cetera, et cetera? Because
It
we can
was
put in
Nevada
those
County.
requests.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Nevada County Medical Examiner's Office, as far as we know. Is that the best guess?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. And we should be getting Placer County, and we should be getting
Ooh.
paperwork from the FBI and from Highway Patrol,
Okay.
the California Highway Patrol.
Okay. It's unclear how her vehicle wound up underwater, but a friend told Fox Digital News shortly after her disappearance that the teen was likely too drunk to drive the night she went missing.
which is a lie.
The area was no artificial. But could that be true? Because the car wasn't found until.
No, once the metabolism stops, that's it. And I do have proof of that. I have an ME stating that, and I
I'm
have a
sorry.
CSI
Can you
forensic
say
specialist stating that. An ME
can
stating
you
that
can you say
once
that
the
again?
metabolism stops, in your body, once you're dead, there's no more metabolism to process the drugs or the alcohol. What they
Mhm.
found in her body was a process of decomp.
Okay.
So,
And
and
do they know how long she's been dead for? Or they haven't gotten that far yet.
about 2 weeks. It was pretty moderate. She was in pretty advanced stage. Uh,
But who's
so
this Sammy Smith person? That's what
that's
I'd
her
like to
friend
know.
who went to the party with her, who said that she was too inebriated to drink, and that's why she found a ride home. I mean, she was too inebriated to drive. Those were her exact words, inebriated. And the thing is that she was not. So why was she lying about that?
Well,
She
she
also
also
lied
says
about the.
that. I mean, according to what I'm reading here, according to her friend, another recent graduate, Sammy Smith, who added that she did not believe the teen would have driven under these circumstances. She says, at that point, when I left, I thought she was going to stay there. It's part of the campground. So this is something that was in this campground. It's a campground party. And you're not, it just seems very, that was the other thing, because if you're driving drunk and you're on a highway and you swerve and you run into a lake, but if you're in a campground,
I know.
that's
It doesn't
very,
make
very odd.
sense.
It doesn't make sense. No.
I mean, she
Everybody
knew
was
this
camping.
area.
Hmm.
She rode
Was
ATVs on it. She was constantly in this area for other get-togethers and stuff from what everybody has stated. This is a area where they go and they are hanging out all the time. Like Friday, Saturday, and during the day on Sundays kind of thing.
hmm
So it's not like she got lost and drove into the lake or couldn't figure out how to get out of there. She knew where she was. And it just doesn't make sense. And it's not like she just drove into the water and there was complete drop off. That doesn't make sense either because it was a
No.
steady incline.
Right.
So my opinion, this is
Sorry.
strictly my opinion, that she was driven into that water. Her car was. Because it was there. It was there on the 16th. I have screenshots from an actual news report. Her car is in that water. It's in the same exact spot that you'll see later on when AWP finds her car. It's right there. But they either knew that it was there and they just turned a blind eye to it for some reason or another, or I don't know. And that's what Jamie was not allowing me to get out, was the fact that yes, the car was there on the 16th.
Hmm.
I mean, it's clear as day. You zoom in on that photo. I sent you the information in your email. But I mean, it's clear. You zoom in on it, and it's her car. You see the back of it. That's closest to the surface is the back of her vehicle, and it's upside down. You see the wheels. It's very clear. Her car is there, and that was the 16th. Her car was found on the 21st. Officially found. So
Right.
I don't know what's going on in that town, but
I could, no, I
I
won't, but I
swear to
could.
you, I swear to you, Greg, this whole thing has got pod people written all over it. The people from that area, they are attacking others who are speaking out left and right. I mean, if you think that certain people in regards to the David Crowley case was bad, this is like 100 times worse. I didn't even comment in these groups. because of the attacking. It was so flippin' vicious. And I just,
That's California though. They're always going to jump to a lot of different things, especially in this area, and it's a very sensitive state, and it's very sensitive nature, obviously, very sensitive, and there's probably some people that are purposely putting out false data so that when rational people bring up questions, these people that are easily triggered will associate the rational questions with the people that have been purposely bringing up false data. So they don't understand how to make the distinction, that they don't understand that there is a difference between people just asking real rational questions to figure out what happened here. They can't, they associate those people with the ones that are purposely putting out false facts here. And that's typical, I think. I see that a lot in these cases. They just want to they have their answer. They
sweep
don't
it
know what
under the
really.
rug.
Yeah, sweep it under the rug. It's just easier to just kind of say, okay, because it helps them play victim with their own life too. It helps them think, wow, this person, she got drunk and she, fell off this thing, and all these people are thinking it's a conspiracy. They think this, so they just tend to associate that with these things. Then they want to associate your thoughts on this case with how you believe in politics, how you believe with masks, with vaccination, with all that other stuff that are trigger points for them. And when you're dealing
And,
with something like, yeah,
and supposedly, these two counties right here are supposedly red counties. And I don't think it has anything to do, if you're talking about politics. Personally, I don't think it has to do with politics. I think it has to do with corruption.
I think for
And
each person it's probably different, but yeah.
and once I did forward that documentary. Maybe I didn't forward it. I will. I'll forward the documentary to you. Called "Everyone Counts," and it's about Nevada County and Placer County and the corruption that went on there. And supposedly, like a serial killer was running loose at that time and was preying on low income, homeless, alcoholics, drug users at that time. And all these people died of accidents. Every single one of them. Accidental drownings
Mm-hmm.
or accident with the train. Either they fell asleep on the tracks or whatever. And they ruled every single one of those as accidents when people were saying, no, this person wasn't homeless. He had a job. He had a life. He knew how to swim. How could he drown? He was wearing 3 pants or 3 pairs of pants. I mean, all this stuff doesn't make sense. And that's what that documentary is going on about. Once I
There's a
watched it,
mhm.
once I watched it, I knew for a fact that this was going to come back as an accident. It wasn't until I looked at the autopsy, and the autopsy showed that her lungs were of normal weight for her age. They weren't 3 times, 2 to 3 times what they should have been, saturated with water. That it. They were perfectly fine, and I knew right then she did not drown.
Hmm.
Now, if
I
they
don't
would have
know.
showed that her lungs weighed about 200 plus or 300 grams per each, then
Mhm.
that would have shown that she drowned. But that's not what the autopsy showed. So,
So I mean that kind of goes back to the medical examiner and making sure that they are accurate, that they are accountable, and of course many people. And it sounds like I don't know what groups you're a part of that were talking about this, but it sounds like they probably want to
all of them.
sweep it under the rug too.
Yeah.
They just want to kind of move on, even though the case is not closed yet. Which again, going back to the David Crowley case, You get a lot of that. Now, you may have people that are just like you in those groups too. You know, you may have people that are just watching, just listening, just reading, and are waiting for the medical examiner report to come out, for the official theory to come out. And by that point, most of the Fox News media and all those guys, the CNN, they're going to be gone. They're going to do one report on it, and that's it. That's it. They're not going to even look at a lot of those facts, a lot of the documents that will come out later on. So that you can tell they're already trying to discount a lot of things that these great researchers are continuing to do. Have you heard this from the mom? I don't know if you can see what's on the screen here, and I don't know if this will play if I play this or not. But have you heard this? This is the first time I'm looking at anything
the day
with the mom.
after. I really don't want to listen to her.
Is it that bad?
Honestly,
is it?
she
I mean,
is so fake. She is so fake. They talk about plea, but I have watched numerous of other cases since I've watched her. She doesn't cry. She doesn't even sound like she's upset. She's acting. Where you listen. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to play this.
Weird.
If you can't hear it, and if people can't hear it on the channel, please tell me. That way, I'll just stop it. I don't want to just body language or anything. See, I can't even hear it.
So scared, and we miss her so much,
Yeah,
and we love her so much. And Kylie, we love you. And if you see this, please just come
I heard it for a
home.
second, but I can't hear it.
I want nothing more than to hug you. And if anybody else out there, if you know where she is, if you know anything about where she might be, if you have any ideas
Where are the tears
or thoughts, please come forward and share them. And we're not looking to bust anybody else or get anybody in trouble. We just want to see our daughter home.
We're not looking to bust anyone else or get anyone else in trouble, is what she said. Who
Okay,
else
because
did they bust?
I couldn't hear it. So hopefully people could, because I definitely could not.
Go to Jalissa Fuentes, California. I'd like for you to see how
Can you
her
spell it?
parents. Jalissa Fuentes. She should pop up. They just found her. But I wanted you to hear, while she was missing, an interview that her mother did or her family did, because comparison to what you just saw, that is very telling.
And that's in Fresno. Okay.
If you could go back maybe like a month ago. See if there's any interviews for either August
mom
or September. Either the mom or any of the family members. You'll see a stark difference between her family and what you just saw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to compare those because, you know, each person is different, right? So.
Yes, but the reason why I'm saying this is if you go and you watch other interviews of other people who've disappeared or missing, they all are broken up inside. And you can see it on their faces and everything. This woman right here, when she's talking, like you said, you couldn't hear it.
We just want her home.
I couldn't hear it.
I
I don't know if
her
people
so
could
much,
hear it.
and we love her so much. And Kylie, we love you. And if you see this, please just come
She's a
home.
plea to community if anybody has information.
I want nothing more than to hug you.
And that's really it.
And if anybody
She's
else
not
out
a
there,
runaway
if you know
type
where
of
she
kid.
is, if you know anything about where she might be, if you have any ideas or or thoughts, please,
At
please come
12:15
forward and
a.m., she
share
texted her
them.
parents that she was heading home.
And we're not looking to like
However, according to her
bust
mother,
anybody
no one
else or
came
get
forward
anybody
to
in trouble. We
say
just
they
want to
saw
see our
her
daughter
leave.
home.
And they interviewed 100 people there, sounds like. Nobody could remember when she left or seeing her car drive away. Her phone, which was last pinged at the party, had been turned off. That's interesting. Oh, has been turned off. Okay, has been turned off. That could be
Supposedly
a...
her phone had gone dead, and I'm trying to find an actual interview for you because, I mean, it is night and day. And I mean, the
It's
AWP
unaccounted
interview
for.
itself, that was that. I mean, it broke my heart listening to that. I I mean, I had tears in my eyes and everything because I could just feel their pain.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman, she never came down to the water to see the car being pulled out. She didn't go down to the ME office. They were on the phone with her. She was eating dinner, and she never came down to identify her daughter, nothing. They had a deputy identify her. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then you have the Fuentes family who was there when they were bringing her car up, who were there when she was taken to the morgue. They were thanking the people who found her and stuff. The woman, her mother for Kylie,
Mm-hmm.
she is upset with AWP for finding her daughter. And I don't understand that. It's like you have answers now. I mean, she would have
Yeah,
had answers anyway because it's a
right.
reservoir that's filling up Lake Tahoe. So right now,
Hmm.
that whole area where her car was found underwater is now no longer underwater. It is all lake bed right now.
Interesting. So they found it
It's all
just in
exposed.
time.
Yeah, within a month, it was exposed. So
Interesting.
when they flipped that car upside down or right ways to pull it out,
Mm-hmm.
computers went out. There was like a laptop that went out. There was a purse or a bag or something like that, a backpack, a package. There was a whole bunch of stuff from the car that was at the bottom of this lake that would have been
Interesting.
exposed. They never went back to get it, Greg.
Hmm.
They wanted to rule this an accident from the very beginning.
Well, it's a
And her
very
car would have.
interesting case here. I do need to shut this down here, but if you have any final thoughts or any final words before I shut it down, please let us know.
Uh, Kylie needs justice. She needs people to go to bat for her because right now, her parents and that town are not going to bat for her. And they can't even do another autopsy because she's already been cremated. So, what we have and what we're planning on getting after November 1st is all that we're going to get on this case. And she needs as many people speaking out and trying to get justice because this is a 16-year-old girl who people are saying was too drunk to drive. And that's why she got into this accident when there's no alcohol in her system. She didn't have water in her lungs. And if she's at this party, a 16-year-old girl, after curfew, a state curfew, number one, which she was not supposed to be driving after dark, right, Greg, for California?
For California, what do you mean driving out after
Yes.
dark? Or,
Isn't there a curfew for 16-year-olds?
not that I know of. No, there may be like a. No, I don't think so. I could be wrong on that, but no, not as far as I know.
Okay. She's not
Now
supposed to have anybody.
there's a curfew if you're hanging out or if you're, just hanging out like at a liquor store or something like that, or, hanging out in public or something like that. But if you're in a controlled environment, like where it seems like where she was, right? She was inside of a park. That's the fascinating thing for me, because you have to enter and exit those places. So people would have seen her leaving or exiting at 12 a.m. Maybe not, because usually the park rangers are gone, so you can just bypass that area. But there is a checkpoint area.
Okay, right here. During the first 12 months after you are licensed, you cannot drive between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. You cannot transport passengers under 21 years old unless accompanied by a California licensed parent or guardian, a California licensed driver 25 years older, or a licensed or certified driving instructor. So she was driving kids under 20 to this party and back. It was after 11 o'clock. She's 16. There's supposedly drugs and alcohol at this party.
Right.
Who's going to be held responsible for her death? That's what
And
I
the
want to
parent,
know.
yeah, there could be a lot of lawsuits, I guess, and that's probably why it's easier just to say that that there was no foul play. It's in everybody's interest, including any people that were with her that don't want to admit that they were with her. Any the park, it's in, they want to clear this up because they don't want to be liable, because they should have, if there was a party happening at this park with underage kids, they're liable for that too, right? So there's a lot
Well,
of, it seems
there's a
like,
death. Yeah, so
I
yeah.
mean, they shouldn't have even had this party at that point. And if there was a party there inside of a campsite, I mean, there's going to be records of that. There's going to be some type of, there's going to be a lot. There's probably going to be a lot that comes out later. I'm sure, and that's probably why they're hoping everybody just stops talking about it.
Do you know that I have never seen a photo of this party that supposedly happened?
Well, if
Now,
you
there's
have
been
the police,
photos. Wait, wait,
but if
wait.
the,
There's
yeah,
been photos that have come forward, but they're not from this particular party. Not
right.
a single photo. And there's supposed to have been between 200 and 300 people, and not a single one has leaked. Not a single video has leaked.
Yeah, but that doesn't say much, right?
These are teenagers. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that nobody posted a single thing. Nobody has, I mean, Greg, there's so much more. I mean, there's so many layers to the story.
Yeah, it
They
sounds like
had
it.
Sammy out there collecting evidence from the partygoers and talking to the partygoers. And when I say this is the Truckee way, I'm not kidding. You have got to read that the guidelines or the community whatever guidelines
Hmm.
to this place, because it
Yeah,
is beyond
Truckee is
people.
there's a lot of drugs in that area. There's a
Hmm.
lot of meth. There's a lot of
Fentanyl, a
and
lot of
fentanyl.
fentanyl
You have to remember,
and
in the state
cocaine.
of, yeah, and in California, weed is legal too. So it's like they have no. I mean, that used to be way before weed was legal. It's only been legal for like a couple of years or something. But before that, this area was very well known for that stuff, right? And then so it's kind of like, well, if you wanted to do other things, you could, but the people in that area are so used to doing what they've been doing, and there's this whole a lot of people making money off of keeping people dependent on these drugs, and so that's why
Hmm.
the fact that there was nothing in her system is very strange. It doesn't mean that whoever she was with or whoever she left with, somebody could have been driving her car.
Yeah,
Something could
absolutely.
have happened. The driver could have gotten out of the driver's window, and that's why the driver's window is down. The
Uh,
driver got out, but
passenger.
nobody. But yeah, or sorry, the passenger, but nobody else
Hmm.
did. She may not have been the driver or even the passenger in her own car. There's a lot of strange things to this case. Just for the first time of me hearing this, it's really the first time
And
me
it's
really asking
confusing.
questions.
And it's not only confusing, but people get very passionate in regards to this case, as you clearly saw earlier in this live stream. Uh,
Yeah, which we have to be
I don't
careful. You have to be careful to really do that, right?
I don't
Because
blame AWP, but this was not Nick's first body. I mean, I'm sorry, I misspoke. This was Nick's first body. And Jared and Doug and Nick went on numerous interviews after that and stated that fact, that it was his first body, that
right, but
he,
first body found doesn't mean it was the first case where he went looking for a body, or the first case that he helped find a body, or the first case that he examined a missing body, right? I'm just guessing. I don't
no,
know. I
no,
have no idea.
no.
I mean,
They had, uh, Jamie was correct. He did work with Jared before Adventures with Purpose had gotten together.
exactly. I
And
think that's a very
he
valid
had
point.
helped pull cars out from rivers and stuff, but he had never ever gone in search of a missing person and found them dead and stuff. This was his first time out. It literally was his first trip out,
Okay, so
the first
for
time
his
getting
first
into the
time,
water.
I do need to go. I got people tugging on
Mhm.
my eardrums here, but just to end this, and I would love to come back and do a second show on this, probably on a different channel. But um, for his first time, how do you think he did? Did he do a good job? Bad
I
job?
think he
What are your
did.
thoughts?
I think he did a great job. I really would love to see the rest of the videos that they had. They said that they had enough for 2 more episodes, but I don't know if we'll ever get to see it. Uh, it was a learning experience for him, and I really felt for him because this is a 16-year-old girl, and both of them had daughters that same exact age. So I truly feel bad for them. I feel bad for the position that AWP is in now. And I really hope that people will take into the account that all they're trying to do is bring missing loved ones back home.
It seems like they did a really good job here.
They did. They did an amazing job. And they are just getting hate. Ever since they discovered her body, they've been getting hate. And it hurts me to see this because they are genuinely good people, good Christian people even. And they're just out there to find missing loved ones and bring them home and give answers to their families who have been missing them and have been left in limbo all this time, trying to figure out what happened to their family member who just vanished off the face of this earth. And so far, they've brought 26 people, I think, home
Wow.
in 2 years. These are cold cases, Greg. The only one that was not a cold case was Kylie Rodney.
Wow.
Well, no, that's not true because the last person that they just found went missing 2 weeks ago, and they found him too. But
Amen.
the majority
Amen.
of their cases are cold cases. And, they're just trying to do good. That's all they're trying to do and give answers. And they're just getting so much hate right now, and it just sucks because without them, who's going to be out there searching and getting answers for these families? So,
Well, maybe we can at some point if their schedule is a little light, maybe we can get them on here on one of these channels to kind of talk about this stuff. I'm sure they're getting many requests and everything, and I'm sure there's lawyers involved with this case and
mhm.
everything, and so that would be something to look forward to in the near future. All right, my friend. Well, thank you for introducing me to this case. And if you have any final words, I'll give you another minute and then I'll shut this down here.
I just want to say thank you to the chat, Jennifer and Inside the Cave. Thank you very much, and thank you for bearing with the and fighting. So, all right, we get pretty passionate about our cases.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but we need to do it respectfully. And sometimes we say things, and hopefully we can all come back here and continue to look into these cases and continue to help support people that are um, doing some of that groundwork, because it's very, very tough work. And yeah, we'll continue to do that, and I may have a couple contacts in that area. I didn't realize how close it was. So hopefully we'll be able to get some more
Catherine
data
does
on
have
this.
Catherine has a video. It's about a 4-minute video out on the Kylie Rodney case. So please try to check her video out, because it's pretty interesting. So I don't know if you saw it, Greg.
No, I don't think I've seen it yet, but I think it's in my playlist. So hopefully tonight or tomorrow I'll be able to actually watch it, and yeah, take it from there.
Sounds
All
great.
right, my friend. Thank you
Okay.
for joining, and thank you everybody in the chat. Always great to have you here. And until next time, God bless you all.
Have a great night, everybody.